Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy.
Yeah.
How you doing on this fine Wednesday?
Okay.
Okay.
Had some really severe weather swing through yesterday, last evening, all day. Nice to see that clear out.
Talking about the freaking weather. Fair enough there, Grump. But for those who are new to this channel, new to this show, new to this podcast, welcome. This is a twice-a-week All Islanders podcast that takes place every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we put out, you like the friendly banter, you like talking about the New York Islanders, you like consenting opinions that don't always align with the Islanders cartel media, the media cartel, the Isles media cartel, make sure to do a few things there for us. And make sure to subscribe on YouTube, right? So you don't miss out on any of our future content. And heck, we're getting at the point of the season where, there's an occasional emergency podcast every once in a while. And you want to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those emergency podcasts. So make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And also, if you like the content, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure to hit the like button. Apparently, that helps the algorithm. It gets this fun time of talking the Isles out to the masses. And also, it just lets us know you like the content that we're putting out. So make sure to leave a thumbs up too if you like the content. One more piece of housekeeping. We also do have a podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. Now, that is a twice-a-week all-sports podcast that takes place every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How can I get to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show, right? You can get to that if you go ahead and go to the link in the description below, or go, it's listed as a featured page here on our YouTube channel. So you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will show check out our other podcasts, and there will be TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. And that's an all sports podcast where we talk anything and everything sports. We talk NHL, we talk basketball, we talk NBA, we talk MLB, we talk college athletics, we talk NFL, we talk European football, we talk anything and everything sports on that show. And the magnificent Son X, who does all the comments here for this show, also is on the show too. So it's a friendly, fun little mix. And if you haven't listened to that show yet, you definitely want to make sure you go ahead and give it a little listen, a little look-see, Grumpy Old Man. But I tell you, we're going Wednesday evening to the Islanders had.
You're going in and out.
You're lost to the Vancouver Canucks.
You're going.
Yeah, that is correct, because I've got a whole bunch. My RAM. Yes, that Grumpy. Thank you very much. Hopefully, it should sound better now. I was doing a lot of. Why? Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you. Hopefully, it sounds somewhat clear to everybody else at home. But we're going live on Wednesday after the Islanders lose to the Vancouver Canucks, and it was funny. We were having our Saturday podcast against the Coyotes. We just beat the Coyotes 5-1. Yeah, we pummeled up on those big old bad Arizona Coyotes, and we said, what would change and leave me in a very cheery disposition? Well, we were playing the Vegas Golden Knights. We were then going, or we had already lost. Did we already lose to Vegas at that point, Grump?
No, I think we played Vegas Saturday night after the show.
That's exactly right. Okay, that's right. That's what we were talking about. They said, "Oh man, we've got some big measuring stick games. We've got Vegas, right? Vegas is really, really good. They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. We had the Vancouver Canucks. We had the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said these are three really big games, and I said we're getting to a pretty tough portion there of our schedule. Well, since our last podcast, we suffered 5-2 losses to both the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. So we talk about measuring stick games. We talk about games that say, hey, is this team good enough, right, to compete at the top level, to compete against great teams?
Nope.
And we lose those games, it seems, more often than not.
And it's the level of compete that's concerning for me. I thought we were certainly more competitive against Vegas, who was missing 7 starters, than we were against Vancouver. Vancouver was It was like Pittsburgh, honestly. It was bad. I don't know where we're going from here. I think that for me, that's the biggest issue. It's like, what's the next step? For me, it's pretty obvious. We're not good enough to compete with good teams, just not. And you think about, we had the highest percentage of points gathered over a 22 game span, and we were still scuffling around in third and fourth place in our division. Eventually everything kind of normalizes. Now you see a whole bunch of teams are within 2 points of us with games in hand, and we're not going to be going at like an 800% clip of points wise. You're just not going to do that all year. This team isn't. And it's like, okay, what happens if by the middle of February we're 6, 7, 8 points out of a playoff spot, which is, it's a possibility. I'm not saying a probability, but certainly a possibility. And it's like, where do we go from there? It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. What I was laughing at is Jeremy, and it couldn't be wronger. He said, no one in here, because you two negative losers just complain all the time. Well, Jeremy, we have this show on multiple platforms. And, again, we'll have plenty of comments that we'll be rifling through tonight. If you're new to the show, and there's a lot of people that are very critical.
Look at negativity. What should we say? Hey, everything's great. We get fucking shit canned against every team that has a 500 record or better. They fucking blow us out of the water. Woo! So we should celebrate that. Okay. Great. Knock yourself out, Jeremy. Sorry, bro. You know what? Look at it with your fucking eyes open. Look at the team with your fucking eyes open. That's what I wish people would do today. Look at this team with your eyes open. We're the worst defensive team in the fucking league. If it wasn't for Sorokin in net and Varlamov in net, we'd be Columbus. We would be the Columbus Blue Jackets or Chicago or San Jose. That's how bad we are. And you want to know who I don't blame? I do not blame Lane Lambert. Lane Lambert knows that this team, he's got to do anything to generate goals. Anything. So we're doing anything we can to score, and it means sacrifice the defense, hope the goaltender comes up and is just spectacular every night. It's the same thing they did last year, because guess what? We're not going to win games when we score 1 goal a game or 2 goals a game. Just not going to happen. I sent you an article, TJ, from Arthur Staple, and we can go through it today. It's in The Athletic. It just goes to show, he's the buzzword that keeps flashing in one's mind as you scroll through all these horrid stats is unsustainable. That's what it is. This team is what we're doing so far, being a borderline playoff team, that is unsustainable because our defense is for shit. Our team defense is horrid. Sorokin's been the goaltending is the only thing that saves us. The only thing is Sorokin making, I don't know how many saves. He let in 1 goal last night that he certainly wants back. But you know what? He made about 7 or 8 saves that, any other goalie lets in. Lamanites, open your fucking eyes. That's my suggestion to you. Open your eyes, Lamanites. Just open them up. You know who you're not going to hear much from? You're not going to hear much from the lead Lamanite. You won't. Awful tough when you get blown out of the water every night to try to put a little pretty little bow on it. Hey, our guys know how to skate. Hey, you know what? They know what time the game started. Those are positives. And guess what? They know what time it ends too. Just about 10 o'clock every night. 2.5 hours after it starts with another loss. Get ready tomorrow night. That's a loss. Toronto, blow us. Toronto plays defense now. Toronto plays defense. Toronto's capable of playing defense. Oh, they had 7 goals against San Jose, by the way, 7-1. That's a team we lost to. Blew a 3-goal lead to. San Jose, worst team in the league. Okay. I wonder how that's going to turn out tomorrow. We're going to have on pace for 92 points, probably through, at the midway point of the season. And all the other teams, you ever seen the movie? What the hell was the movie? Oh, Iron Will. You ever see Iron Will? Movie Iron Will?
Yes.
Where the kid The kid was leaving like 2:00 in the morning. And then, the last night of the race, I mean, he's worn out. And then everybody, it's like the Indianapolis 500. Zoom, 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 zoom. That's all these teams blowing past us into potential playoff spots. We're not making the playoffs.
I forgot how good of a movie that is. And I was like, man, before I'm like, I forgot that's how the ending went. I knew something like that happened in the end, and now Grumpy just fucking ruined the end for me. I was gonna watch it again, and I haven't seen that movie in freaking decades. I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun to watch. I'm like, Iron Will. And you already told me the ending, though.
And here's the thing. You know what? Lou Lamoriello, he's like Iron Will's dad at the beginning of the movie. He's running this team into the freaking river. Just gonna, that's it, over. He had to cut the rope and let himself die for the team to get better.
Hold on. I do not remember Iron Will at all. Jesus Christ, Grumpy.
That's like in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
I have not seen this movie in decades.
The kid,
plural decades.
Fredo's trying to help him. He's like, no, Fredo, no. Don't. And he's like, Dad. And he's trying to pull him up with the dogs. And he just takes out, like, and he, that's the end of the old man. That's it. Then he had to go in the race to try to save the farm and go to college. Great movie. That's when Disney actually made good movies. Live action movie. Really good. I watched that movie. I want to say at least once a year I watch that movie.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. Great family entertainment.
Fuck it, Grumpy.
Iron Will.
In case you haven't seen Iron Will in a while, don't worry. Grumpy gave you all the high points. He gave you the ending, so you don't have to worry about anything. Nothing is left to fucking imagination. Grumpy's telling you all the big parts. The dad cuts himself off and kills himself so that the son's able to continue to race at a quicker pace, and he doesn't get all like tripped up.
No. That's just when, hey, the river gives life and it takes life. That's what they found out in that movie. And you had the guy from Sweden yelling at his dogs, and they turn up.
So I guess the takeaway:
Indian brothers, the Carey brothers.
Jeez.
I mean,
Jim Carrey's in this movie, huh?
Not Jim Carrey. It was Albert, and I don't remember the other Carrey brother name. But then at the end, they bring Iron Will over to his mom. You see him; he's freaking look like he's been run over by a bus. I mean. And, and of course he wins at the end. Woo! I mean, how else is that movie going to end but fantastic? Just a great movie. Kevin Spacey, before he was, his issues was in that movie too. He played a jaded newspaper man. Shit. Good movie. Absolutely good. Great movie. Not good movie. Great movie. Absolutely watch it.
I'll have to add it to the list, but now it's low on the list because you told me everything that happens.
You know what? As well as I told it, they tell probably a little better than I do.
You tell a story so well that I don't even need to worry about watching it anymore.
That's true.
Oh, man.
But that's where we're at as a team. It's like, if you look at it realistically, what do you think? Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Didn't I pick Pittsburgh at the beginning of the season to make playoffs? Yeah. Laughed at. Everyone laughed at me. Pittsburgh's absolutely making playoffs. Oh, Jersey. As bad as they've been, well, guess what? They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, 2 points behind, 2 games in hand. Carolina, see you later. Wait, hold on.
Jersey, think about this. Jersey's had the worst. Wait a minute. Jersey's had the worst save percentage in the NHL. Go ahead, Grump.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Hold on. Is that a North Carolina license plate all the way up there? Oh, yeah, that's the Carolina Hurricanes. Yeah. Rangers. We were told by friends of this show, Rangers, they're not making the play. Rangers? Islanders going to be top 2, maybe top 3, top 2 probably. No. I'm like, dude, you're not looking at the Rangers? No, Rangers are old. They're terrible. Vinny Trocheck, he makes too much money. You want to know what else he does?
I remember Vinny Trocheck being a third line center at best last year too. I do remember that.
You want to know what the Rangers do? They score goals and they win games. Here's the thing. Vancouver handed them Vancouver's good. Shows what a good coach can do, and patient with young players. What would we know about that? I don't know. We don't even have any young players on our team. But what did they do? I mean, they steamrolled the Rangers, beat them 6-3. You figure, okay, well, let's see. Islanders have had a number since Saturday to Tuesday. So what is that?
Yes. The Vancouver Canucks played the Rangers, might I add. They played them on Monday evening, and they were playing the second half to a back-to-back. You know that thing, the Islanders have not won a single second half to back-to-back game all season long. The kryptonite of the Islanders. They can't win when they have to play the second game, in 2 days. It's too tough for them. But, Vancouver, I thought, man, they're going to be a little sluggish. They played a high-scoring game against the Rangers. What's going to happen there? Not the case, Grump.
I looked at it like, okay, the Islanders had 2 days off in a row. Vancouver's second half of a back-to-back. You would expect their legs to be tired. They just kept on getting better and better and better every single shift. Every single shift. They just walked in on us time after time after time. I'm just like, are there any forwards going to come back and help out this woeful defensive group? Any of them. And who was back? Adam Pelech. What did he do? He got his pocket picked by a guy who hustled, which led to a goal. Just whoops. Dude, keep your head up. I know you ain't been on playing a competitive game for a while, but you figure you would not forget to kind of peek around the shoulder a little bit. Somebody coming up from behind you.
Okay, I'm gonna give Pelech an excuse. It was his first game back in months.
No excuses. No excuses.
If he dies, he dies. That's what you sound like right now, Grump. Oh, God.
I just said no excuses.
No excuses. He's back though. He's back after 20 games. Man, I tell you, it's guess what? Exactly where we thought this team would be. What is the thing I said I feared the most at the very beginning of this season? And I've been saying it all along the way. The worst case scenario for this team to be in is around the NHL trade deadline in the middle of no man's land. We're not unbelievably fantastic to where we're at the top of the conference, the top of the Metro, the top of the division, and we're not completely out of it. So it gives our general manager enough justification to double down on this team again and to acquire more current players that are, at the peak, or a guy having a career year in a contract season, and trade away more future assets to dig our hole even deeper, just to barely skate, or just to barely maybe get into the postseason. It's the worst case scenario we can be in, and it's exactly where we currently are.
I have a question for you, and I don't want to look too far ahead, but let's look at next year when we don't make the playoffs this year and we only have $5 million in cap space. How does the team get better? Don't tell me that the 40-year-olds on this team are going to be getting better. Don't tell me the guys in the mid-30s are going to be getting better. Is Simon Holmstrom going to take a step up from being a fucking goal hanger? Guess what? That well's kind of dried up, hasn't it? Because guess what? The little tape on him now. Yeah, just keep an eye on that little pissant number 10. He likes to freaking hang out around the freaking red line when they're man down, hoping to get a breakaway. I mean,
you know what we're going to do, Grumpy? You know what we're going to do this year, the trade deadline? We're going to give up our first-round pick, Oliver Wahlstrom, and something else for Elias Lindholm. Hey, guys, we're going to bring in Elias Lindholm, and we're going to trade away all future assets possible. Another guy who's on an expiring deal in 2020, and this year, this is the last year of his contract there. He'll be an unrestricted free agent, and then we'll have to do some fancy maneuvering to free up enough space for another 29, almost 30-year-old player, thinking that that's going to help progress our team. That's the big move that these people want. That's going to be the big move, I'm sure, that the fan base is going to want. Hey, we need to do something drastic, right? Because it's not defense that we need. Our defense is just not playing well. Our system is just not working. The system does not work. We lay back in our own zone. We concede 35 shots a night. That is second worst in the NHL. Only the San Jose Sharks are worse than us in that manner. It doesn't matter when we add Pelech and Pulock back. We're still going to be surrendering way too many shots on that. And what are you going to do? You have Pelech signed long-term, Pulock signed long-term, Mayfield signed long-term. I assume you want Dobson and You also want Romanov signed long-term, and you just scrape Mike Riley off the scrap heap. I don't assume that they're going to pick up any new defensemen. They're going to look to add, and they're going to add a forward, and they're going to give up an arm and a leg for a forward this trade deadline.
Isn't Mike Riley a forward? Because he sure as hell don't play any defense. That's for certain. He's the worst acquisition we've ever made.
No, stop. Come on.
I'll say this. He's not the worst we've ever made, but I'll tell you what, he's a miserable defenseman. You could see why two teams cut him. You could see why he was cut by Boston and then cut again by Florida. They're good teams. You know what? Good teams don't play pieces of shit like that in their lineup. Here's the thing. Not only do they not play him on the lineup, they don't want them infecting the rest of the franchise. So they cut him loose.
Oh, God.
He sucks. He's horrible. He's horrible. I think I sent you his whatever that alleged defense was against the Golden Knights with the goal they gave up to their fourth line. The one that was a questionable goal.
You sent me a lot of these where you film. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna try to get it, Crump. You sent me a lot of these where you try to film something. No, are you talking about against Colorado?
No, I believe this was against Vegas.
You did not send me that. You sent me one against Colorado. You said this is what the Colorado announcers think of us, but that was the last time you sent.
No. I did send you one against Vegas.
I'm looking at our text messages right now, and the last one I received from you is against Colorado. Maybe you recorded it, but you didn't send it to me. So if you send that to me, Grumpy, I will get it up post speed, Grump. Do not worry. I'll say this here. Our defense, what type of player personnel change can you make to improve it? Not much. And people are going to say, hey, a new coach fixes all of our problems. A new coach is like the magic elixir that we need in order to become a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. But in reality, it's not. Could it help the team getting a new coach? Absolutely it could. It gives us a little bit of a new coach bounce. For certain it could. The issue here with this squad is unless you have a fantastic coach or unless you're playing that trot style of system, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to do defensively. We do not have the offensive firepower and the offensive ability from our forwards to control the puck in the offensive zone for long stretches. A lot of other teams have the ability to do that. It's almost like anybody who plays us always has the ability to control zone time, control puck possession, and control action. Unless we're playing the Arizona Coyotes or the Columbus Blue Jackets or one of I wouldn't even say the San Jose Sharks, but so the San Jose Sharks, how often do you say, wow, this is a game where the Islanders absolutely dominated from start to finish? Really, we have to look at, it's going to be like one of the worst teams. The only times we dominate are against the absolute shitty teams in the NHL. And every time we're playing a top tier team, we look like the inferior squad. Just look at the examples. Look how we played against Colorado. Look at how we played against Vegas. Look at how we played against the Canucks. The list goes on and on.
Pittsburgh.
We played top tier teams. Pittsburgh too, sure.
Twice. Wait, we still have to play the Rangers 4 times. That's 4 losses.
You just sent me 3 videos. Which one do you want? 4 videos. Mike, you sent me the same video 4 times in a row. Which one? Or you sent me the same video 3 times in a row, Grumpy. Which video do you want? I did
not send you the same video 3 times in a row. Go to the first one that I sent you. And then you could show.
Grumpy, what is this? This is the same video 3 times in a row, my guy. Do you see that? That's 3 times in one.
The one right up above it. The one with the guy's face.
So fuck. Okay. I'll get that pulled up.
Then the one with the girl who looks like Beaky the Buzzard in female form for the Vegas Golden Knights.
I will not be showing that, Grumpy.
Does she not look like Beaky the Buzzard?
No, Grumpy. I'm not even entertaining that.
It's funny. It's funny.
You know what I'm stuck on, Grumpy? The only thing I'm stuck on is the Islanders and the struggle that we've been enduring for the Islanders. Ugh. I tell you, people are just throwing anything out there. Hey, Corey Perry. Ooh, Islanders might be looking at Corey Perry. Oh, Zach Parise. Once we get Parise back, everything is golden. Is this team a Zach Parise or Corey Perry away from being a competitor?
Why would Corey Perry want to play for this team? Why would Corey Perry play for this team? I know he had a meeting with Bettman today. I'm sure he had to kiss his ass for something.
He was cleared to play.
Oh, cleared to play. How do you think that makes Chicago feel? I think that makes Chicago feel.
I don't think Chicago cares.
They just freaking cut him loose. Just cut him loose. Again, guilty until proven innocent. I don't even know what he did. I don't even care. Honestly, don't care.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Here it is, Grumpy. I'll get this up in a second for us here. But yeah, so he's been
playing defense. This should be good for a laugh. Mike Riley playing defense.
I will tell you, he gets all the analytics. And here's the thing. Analytics sometimes, right? Like
no. It means nothing. It means nothing.
Sometimes analytics are correct because it's like a sun shining on a dog's ass. Happens twice a day, happens every once in a while. Once in a blue moon, a blind squirrel finds a nut, and there's sometimes that the analytics can prove what the eye test actually sees. But Mike Riley is a perfect example of the analytics do no justice to what you actually see on the ice and what you see on a game in, game out basis. It's that simple. Let's see here, Grumpy. You got, here it is. Okay. Let me load this here. A 30-second clip for the Vegas or during the Vegas Golden Grump. Should I listen to this with sound, Grumpy, or no?
Yes, sure. You can listen to it with sound. It's more amusing that way.
Dorofeev's reaction saying, what a setup. Yeah, it's great work here. Stone is fighting for the puck along the wall, finds Stevenson, and it's just a beautiful feed to Dorofeev. Dorofeev is right in the interior. He's where he's supposed to be.
Can we talk? Okay, this is the Mayfield blunder, Grump. So it's the other one. Jesus Christ, Grump. You told me the wrong one. Okay, this one I will. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Mayfield. People are so upset. I cannot believe Lamoriello signed Mayfield to a 7-year deal. Yeah.
We said that. We were talking. We said trade him at the deadline. Let somebody else pay for a guy in his 30s. That's what we said. That's why people should listen to the show. That's why people should listen to the show. You find out what the Islanders should do. So this way you're not fucking 8 months behind. You're not so far behind that you look stupid to your friends. That's why you come and listen to this show every single time that we're on, because we are prophetic. Everything we say comes true. You want to look dumb to the intelligent people in the world? Keep on listening to the Lamanites. Keep on listening to them, because it might make you feel better, but then you're going to wake up. Oh shit! Did I take the blue pill or the red pill? Oh my goodness! That's the way it is.
Gracious.
Sorry.
So Grumpy, I by the way, I don't think you actually sent me a video of Mike Riley BTW. So we shall see. The Scott Mayfield is a good playoff style defenseman because he's a guy who loves to hold, clutch, and grab. And in the postseason, they don't call that. In the regular season, they call that. So people are like, oh, man, Scott Mayfield just makes a habit of taking dumb penalties. Yes, he commits those penalties year round. He just gets called in the regular season. In the postseason, he doesn't get called. You signed a guy who's not a fleet of foot skater, a guy who is a playoff style defenseman, and you're expecting to see him be a solid, steady Eddie in the regular season. That's just not a proper expectation for the guy. Just isn't.
He's over 30 and he gets a 7-year extension for a bottom pairing defenseman. Where have we seen that before? Casey Cizikas, JG Pajot, Kyle Palmieri, Pierre Engvall, Semyon Varlamov. Where do we see the Anders Lee? Where do we see these things over the same mistakes over and over and over again? Where is that river when we need it from Iron Will? Where is it?
Look at really quickly. Let me remove this banner. Look at this, grumpy old man. My God almighty. Just take a look at how we're set up for the moment.
What the hell is Simon Holmstrom doing hooking Bolduc behind the net?
Think about this. You have Bolduc and Holmstrom high-fiving each other back there. You have Mayfield vacating the front of the net to go ahead and try to put pressure on a guy who is not in a good shooting angle. And just look at this shit. It's shambolic defensively. It is. It's because our guys are running around chickens with their head cut off. They're facing
Sorokin
pressure.
sucks. Man, Sorokin sucks.
Yeah, he should have totally made a save right here. I can't believe he didn't make it. But look at Mayfield. My guy, this is your man right here. This is your guy. This is not your guy at the face-off dot. Jean-Gabriel Pajot can migrate over there as your guys get back in position.
How defensively aware Simon Holmstrom is. Tell me again. Tell me again how great he is. He sucks. He sucks. Take away his 5 shorthanded goals. You know what? He's less than a ham and egg.
You cannot take away shorthanded goals, though, Grump.
I am. I'm taking them away.
You can't do that. I won't let you, Grump.
I'm just doing it anyway. Some of those other flips
does suck. My God, he should have easily had a save right there.
Look at this.
Oh, you like how Mayfield got nutmegged?
At least he tried. At least Mayfield tried. You know, I like Scott Mayfield. At least he tried.
He's got to do better there.
He's trying. Well, you got 2 guys behind the net. You got 2 guys behind the net. You got Simon Holmstrom hooking his own man. What can Scott Mayfield do for that? He tried. You know, what else could he do? Tried to take away the pass. That didn't work. I mean, great defense.
And just whoop.
Great team defense.
All I got to do is just put my stick on it. It goes into the net. Oh, yeah, man. Sorokin sucks. Sorokin who was only supposed to give up 2.6 expected goals that game. He's letting goals in like this. He sucks. Sorokin blows. My God. He should have easily had a save right there. Sorokin's supposed to be Jesus Christ incarnate. Like, these are the expectations that the fans have. What is Sorokin supposed to be doing right from here? Unimpeded, open in front of the net on a one-timed opportunity. What's Sorokin supposed to do here? Is he supposed to just go ahead and spread and cover the entire net?
Can I just say something? And just to let you know, this was the game where we played much better of the 2 between Vegas and Vancouver.
Yes.
I mean, we played, I want to say 30 times, well, double, 3 times better than we did last night. And this is what happened Saturday night. This is what happened Saturday night. Like I said, I don't know how anyone can look at this team and think, yep, we're making playoffs. I don't know how anyone can do that.
I think we can make playoffs. I just don't think we're a real contender.
How are we going to make playoffs? Pittsburgh is on our heels. Devils are on our heels. They're both 2 points out with games in hand. You think we're beating Pittsburgh this year? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Pittsburgh's going to be in the rear. Devils. Wait, you know his thing. I think we'll come in fifth in division, which maybe if Tampa does, maybe we make it as an 8th playoff spot.
Look real quickly. Look how close he came to making that save with a stick. Can you freaking believe that our goalie, you can see his stick?
It doesn't matter. We've made our point on that. We don't need to continue hitting that. We know it.
We know
it. And that's for the Lamanites who think that Ilya Sorokin's no good anymore because his numbers are down. You remember what I said before last year? His numbers might be worse, but he might actually be better for the team. I said that last year. Just shows you I was a year ahead of what actually happened. This year, he's still playing spectacular. Are his numbers what they were last year? They're absolutely not. But you know what? He's being hung out to dry. Now, this one here might have some other play in there also.
Okay, let's listen, Grumpy.
Challenged by the New York Islanders. Nick Waugh getting credit for it right now with his 6th. We've come a long way from a foot in the crease. Taking the goal back in. This play might be the reason why the National Hockey League
Here's my boy,
went away
Look
from
at
that.
Lazy
You guys, I'm not going to cover.
All right, listen. If you're going to comment in the video and you're commenting now, we're not going to be able to hear a damn word you're saying. Let you in the video comment or you in real life comment. One or the other.
All right, we'll listen to the video comment first, then I'll touch it. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
This play might be the reason why the National Hockey
Fucking Riley.
went away
Look
from
at him.
that.
What a lazy fucking defending that piece of shit. He blows.
Toronto to make a decision or help make a decision. I think Colasar eventually is going to get that. I think it hits his stick, but he doesn't go.
By the way, Sorokin could make a good save right here too, don't you think, Grump?
Yeah. Got a little ass sandwich he's eating there.
We're definitely setting him up for success.
What I didn't realize is that I commented live on that, so I did not realize that.
Let's continue to. You know what it is? You just can't control yourself when you're watching it. Just like, oh, fucking Riley.
Riley is the Bailey of the defense.
Oh.
Into the blue ice. He's allowed to hold position outside of the crease. Sorokin, I think Jay Knight did a brilliant job describing this during the period. Sorokin goes into Kolasar. Kolasar isn't interfering with Sorokin. It's the other way around. And Kolasar's allowed to go there. He does not back in. He goes. He plants himself right
Is that
there.
it, Grumpy?
And
maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what he's supposed to
we
do.
can go back to Riley. Riley just, I mean, think about this. Think about this sequence here from Mike Riley, and all I hear from the Lamanites, all I hear from Mike Riley, Lou Lamoriello, so fantastic. Well, let's take a look here at our boy Mike Riley.
Let's chase this guy. This guy. I'll pretend to cover him. Up, I'll go. Whoops, got by me again. A different guy. This is their fourth line. This is not like the French Connection line for the Sabres back in the 70s, or Guy Lafleur for Montreal. This is their fourth line, and they just chase, and he never touches anyone.
Yeah, just look at this shit. Like, what the? Did he forget that there's somebody in front of the fucking net?
He's like, let me skate into the other two guys so this guy gets a clear shot with just
look at our defense. Can we just take a second to look at this? What in God's name? We're not shorthanded. I know if you watch, you may have thought with that sequence, the Islanders, they were shorthanded. That's why they got all out of whack. No, this is 5-on-5 hockey. Holy shit. Look at this. Both our defensemen are almost above the dot, as we've got here a freaking forward for Vegas putting the campfire up, turning on the grill, going ahead and eating some brats right in front of Sorokin, preventing him from seeing the puck. Oh, Sorokin should have made a save there. Sorokin needs to do better. Anybody who's saying that shit seriously needs to check themselves out and say, am I being objective here? Like, this is, what are you expecting Sorokin to do here? And Riley, just completely out of position, needs to do better. Whiffs on two different defensive attempts and then just starts wandering like a kid at like a 7-year-old soccer game, just trying to follow the ball and just trying to run after the ball instead of sticking to his position. This guy's supposed to be a professional. Exactly right, Grumpy. There's a reason why this guy's been cut from 2 teams in the last 12 months, because of shit just like this.
He's an SBS. Sucks, blows, and swallows. That's it. SBS.
Oh, there it is. He's got to do better, though.
He's terrible. And that was the eventual game-winning goal, I believe. That was the game-winning goal.
But hey, if you listen, he was only supposed to give up like 2.6 projected goals, and he gave up 5 that game against Vegas. He's got to do so much better.
Like I said, you know what that means to me? Absolutely nothing. It means nothing. Expected goals. Dude, put away your freaking slide rule and just watch the game. Watch the game. Did you look at the Arthur Staple article? You'll find it funny.
I didn't have a chance to read it, but tell me. I've got it up. We can look at it together, Grumpy. What happened to the Arthur Staple article?
Well, he just commenting, says the title of the article is Ilya Sorokin says he feels good. He better, because the Islanders have no options in goal. And he goes to touch on, a lot of things we've been saying, right? How this is Sorokin. He's Tuesday with his 8th straight start, and it'll be 9 or 8th straight appearance because Varlamov got hurt. It'll be 9 on Thursday and then 10 on Saturday and so on. And he doesn't mean to knock Ken Appleby, because he might get his first NHL action in 6 years next week in back-to-back games against Minnesota and Winnipeg. Think about that. Okay, you don't have to slam Ken Appleby, but you did by saying he's been in the league, he's 28, and he hasn't had an NHL start in 6 years. You know what that means? He should probably be playing against the Islanders, because those are the type of goalies we play against every night. But we're not capable of scoring. They're not going to put their starters in there. Just throw a Ken Appleby in there. how ugly if he plays. I think, honestly, if you're going to give him a start, it should be against Minnesota. Minnesota's really banged up.
Yeah.
Missing Kaprizov and Spurgeon.
Johannes Brodin, Jared Spurgeon. The list goes on and on. Minnesota has a lot of injuries this year.
A lot of injuries. They're starting goaltenders out. So, and then you play Winnipeg the next night, who I think has won like 9 in a row.
And by the way, Connor Hellebuyck is playing fantastic hockey, looking like he'll probably win the Vezina this season.
And Kyle Connor should be back potentially next week. So, I mean, you know, that's a loss. So that's has to be a Sorokin game. I think if you're going to play Appleby, play him against Minnesota if you're going to do it. But long story short, he touches on a lot of things we've touched on. You know, where the Islanders, they've had so many ups and downs throughout the season, but there's been one constant. This team gives up way too many shots on goal, scoring chances, and high danger chances. They rank 31st in shots against, 30th in scoring chances against, and 30th in high danger chances against. Sorokin's appeared in 30 games. By the second week of January last season, he had a .924 save percentage, third in the league, and a .235 goals against, and on 873 shots. Okay, 737 scoring chances faced. After Saturday, Sorokin's line looked like this: .909 save percentage, .317 goals against, 938 shots against, and 834 scoring chances faced. Think about that. That's almost 100. It's over 100 extra scoring chances and 60 more shots. So, all right, 60 more shots means more shots, but the scoring chances are even greater. It just shows how poor our defense has been. I mean, it's just, come on. I mean, it's where are you going? Then they talk about the defenseman they used. Waiver wire pickup, Riley. Struggling prospect, Bolduc. I think Bolduc's been better. Is he a finished product? No. And a replacement veteran who's now likely done for the year, Bortuzzo. Maybe Sorokin should be expecting 35 shots a night and 30 scoring chances. But the buzzword that keeps flashing in everyone's mind as you scroll through these stats is one thing: unsustainable. Sorokin was a workhorse over the final month of last year, playing 13 of the final 14 games as the Islanders eked out a playoff spot. Against the Hurricanes over the following 2 weeks, he was good, but not great. And the Islanders could not afford merely good, nor can they now. What are you doing? What can we possibly do? I mean, that's the direction that we're going in. Call it poor planning, bad development, bad luck, or all three. But the Islanders haven't had a rainy day fund in net. Appleby assumed the veteran pro mantle from Corey Snyder a couple of seasons ago. Skerrick is into his 5th year at Bridgeport, and the numbers haven't vastly improved. But he's still just 24, too young to give up on a goalie. If he hasn't improved in 5 years, it's not too early, in my opinion, to give up on him. It's like, what direction are you going? I mean, I don't know what else you can do. I mean, you realize we're going to be playing Nashville. The Islanders are 0-7-2 against Nashville in the last 6 years. Yikes. Yikes. Does anything get better for this team going forward? Anything? I have no idea. I mean, it's frustrating. Who do you blame? It's the guy who sits in the ivory tower. It's Lou Lamoriello. I mean, that's what happens when you sign a 35-year-old backup goaltender with a history of groin injuries and you have nothing else. Well, injuries happen.
Yeah.
What happens if Sorokin gets hurt? Let's say we got a little Appleby in net. I mean, I don't think you're getting a 2-for-1 coupon when you go to Applebee's. That's all I'm saying. Who else are they going to put in there? Think about that. If Sorokin gets hurt, where does this team go? If Dobson gets hurt, where does this team go? If Barzell gets hurt, where does this team go? You could tell me how great Pelech is, how big of a loss Pulak is. Those guys they've been on a downward trajectory since 2020. Absolutely they have. I don't know where you go. There's no help from your There's no help from your forward group, just none. Do you want to go back to the Barry Trotz system? Everybody just plays defense? Is that what we want to do? And hopefully we win games 1-0? That's not sustainable either. I'm really disappointed because I don't feel like there's a path out for the team unless you start trading some veterans who actually make money. I just don't know what direction, how the team improves moving forward.
The team, and by the way, I was able to hear that. I tell you, man, oh man, think about that. We're giving up so many more chances this year. So many chances and a lot more shots. Now, Sorokin, that's right. Look at how many of the fans last year complained. Oh, Sorokin he didn't look good in the postseason. That's why we lost. If he made the saves and wasn't giving up shots from behind the net, we would have won. Yeah, okay. You had to use and abuse him down the stretch just to make the postseason. And what are we doing? Early on this year, we're already having to use and abuse him. How do you think that's gonna bode for the team long term this season?
Not well. One thing I noticed yesterday, the Islanders telecast, I guess they stopped putting up shots on goal. Because I didn't see shots on goal the whole time I watched. I'm like, why am I not seeing shots on goal? It certainly looks like a shooting gallery out there. It wasn't that bad. It was only 37-22, or 37-20. I mean, so 33-20. I mean, that's better than usual, I guess. But Vancouver, I mean, just the way they just kind of walked into the zone time and time again. Who the hell, the big guy Myers, just walks in. Nobody stops him.
Free entry into the zone. No pressure when you get into the zone. And I'm like, how are you expected to put forward a good defensive effort when you allow easy zone entry? And when they're in the zone, you don't put any sort of pressure on them and say, take as much space and opportunity as you want.
And Vancouver just coasted in the third period.
Yes.
They just coasted. And you know what? My boy Brock Nelson, 2 goals. Those are typical Brock Nelson goals. Down by 3, he scores 1. Down by 3 again, he scores 1. Okay, the first one.
Goals.
The first one, Kyle Palmieri, spectacular pass. That backhanded pass from where he was on that power play goal, tremendous. And, Nelson did his job. I mean, he pumped that puck in there. Goalie almost got there, didn't. Great pass. That was Palmieri all the way. And then the other one, just a shot that the goaltender, he just missed. He just missed from distance. But those are Brock Nelson goals. Goals that don't mean anything. I'm surprised Anders Lee didn't have a couple of those. Get beat, 10-2, and there's 2 Anders Lee goals. And he's celebrating at the end. Oh, I got 2 goals. No.
Right?
No.
It's
one guy I want to defend before I know we have to do ad read. I know. But one guy I want to defend.
Hold on, we're already an hour in. My God, Grumpy, You've been on fire today. I love it.
Because I'm pissed off. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated. When we win, I'm more calm. I'm more sedate. When we lose, and it's not like, wow, a bounce of the puck here, a bounce of the puck there. We win that game. No shot. How many times have we been blown out in the last couple of weeks? I mean, blown out. Totally dominated. I mean, the Colorado game notwithstanding, where it went to overtime, but we were totally dominated in that game as well. We're just getting dominated on the ice. At some point in time, something has to change. You can change the coach if you want. That's not going to solve the issue. Not going to solve the issue. The change has to come at the top. Ownership needs to realize we need a new GM. This iteration of the Islanders is done. Yes. What percentage chance you think this team has of winning a Stanley Cup? 0. I'm going to tell you what. It's not a freaking crooked number. So that means it's 0. 0. No shot at all of winning a Stanley Cup. At some point in time, you have to say, you know what? Okay, this little mini run is over. We must change up our tactics. And if the old man won't do it, you got to show him the door. Sorry.
Yep.
One guy, like I said, that I think's been getting a little bit of heat and I've given heat to him before, Pierre Engvall. You're hearing people kind of go after him saying, well, gosh, he hasn't scored. He hasn't done this. Don't blame Pierre Engvall. He's a third-line player at best. That's what he is. Just because the Islanders thought he was a second-line player, he never will be, never was, never will be. Just not happening. It's not his skill set. I'm not saying he sucks. I'm saying he's allergic to contact. If you put him on the third line, I think he'd be fine. But guess what? You don't give third liners 7-year contract extensions either when they're 28 years old. You don't do that. That's how you hamstring yourself. But look, grumpy old man, he kept the AAV down. I could care less. He's going to be here for 7 years. He's not going anywhere. Scott Mayfield, look, the AAV is $3.5 million. So what? So what? You don't give a guy in his 30s, a slow-footed, bottom-pairing defenseman, a 7-year contract extension. You don't do it. We do it over and over and over again. Who's next? Brock Nelson. He's going to be 33 next year on the last year's deal. If the old man is still here, how much you want to bet he gives him a 5-year extension?
If the old man's still here, I can promise you that Brock Nelson.
He needs to go. Brock Nelson, and it's not because he sucks. Brock Nelson needs to go because he has probably the most value of anyone here that you would potentially say, okay, we want to move forward. You got to get rid of the guys in their 30s. Palmieri. How's he doing?
See you later.
I heard from the lead Lamanite 3 weeks ago. Oh, gosh, look at how many points he has. He hasn't had a point since because he is what he is. He's a 35-point-a-year guy. That's what he is. He plays on the second line for us. He's a second freaking liner. Guess what? In the real world, he's a third liner. The whole team is filled with third liners. Filled with third liners, fourth liners, fifth liners. That's what we have on this team. I mean, sorry.
I will say this. You're not wrong when it comes to the Pierre Engvall. The problem is for people who are upset or disappointed with this play, your head was filled with delusions of grandeur and how great things could be. How great that second line is. Hey, that second line in the playoffs was the best second line in 5-on-5 hockey. Whoa.
And we lost in 6. And how many of those Brock Nelson goals went right through the body of Antti Raanta? 4? Antti Raanta was the only thing that kept the Islanders in that series.
If you look at how they played to end the regular season, 5-on-5, they only surrendered 4 or 5 goals, and they went ahead and accounted for 21. They're the best second line in all of hockey. Well, you find out that, guess what? And you look at a few statistics, you can go ahead and measure up and say, oh, great, I can manipulate statistic A and statistic B to prove my point. But the eye test was never there. The guy had speed, and he does create because he has speed, but he's a bottom 6 forward, just like he was in Toronto. He's the same thing here. Guess what? It wasn't like Toronto just said, oops, we didn't know that we had a guy who had the top 6 potential. And this guy who's 26, 27 years old, we just didn't realize what he really was. We didn't realize he was a diamond in the rough.
Okay. He couldn't even make the Maple Leafs roster until he was 25. Does that scream second liner to you? Not to me, it doesn't.
Wow, he didn't make it until he was 25 years old?
25 years old.
Wow. Yeah. Man, oh man. Yeah, it's no. Okay, that's not correct. Grumpy. He's 27 now. He played 48 games with them back in 2019, 2020. That's just not correct, Grumpy.
How many? Oh, so he played half a season. So he was a spot player when guy was hurt.
22. He was 22 years old when he first made the roster. 22, and then he played 23. He played 42 games, but he was a healthy scratch sometimes, or maybe he got hurt.
When was he a starter? When did he become a starter on the team?
I don't know if he missed time due to injury. Okay, he played 6 games in the postseason.
He's a shitty player. He spent a lot of time at the Marlies.
Okay, 2020, 2021, that was a short and truncated season due to COVID, the 50 whatever game season. He played 42 games in a regular season and 6 games in a postseason. He was a full-time starter. He was 23, 24.
I'm saying he was 25.
Well, it's not. It's just not true. For anybody who wants the accurate, it's more like 20, 22, 23 years old for the accurate. For the people,
but he was not a full-time starter for them then.
Okay,
He came in when somebody else was hurt. He didn't get a full-time job until he was 25.
It was 23, the latest, but good try, Grumpy. Here's the thing. I will say this about Pierre Engvall. It's not like we found some special diamond in the rough. As I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned this offseason too. Oh no, we just happened to stumble across some really talented players that nobody noticed. If he hit free agency, he was going to get paid $4.5, maybe $5 million AAV.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you later.
Oh man. Good gracious.
25. The first time he played 78 games, he was 25 years old.
Grumpy. I want you to look really quickly at that. You can make me re-pull this shit back up. Grumpy, I just told you. Look at 2020. Oh, Jesus. Let me just put it up on the screen so you could see grumpy old man. Come on, Grumpy.
Played half years before that. Half years.
Hold on. These are not half years. 2020, 2021, Grumpy. That was, we played 58 games or however many games it was in a regular season. That was the COVID season. How many games did we play that year? Remind me.
70 something. 74.
No, motherfucker. We did not play 70 games. Not that year, Grump. That is incorrect. Ugh, let me see here.
Yeah.
All righty, Grumpy. That year, no, we played 56. So he played in 42 of the 56 games. Very easily just could have missed some time due to injury. And guess what? He played.
No, he wasn't good enough. Look at his numbers. Look at his numbers.
Grumpy, what are you talking about? He played 42 of the 56 regular season games, and he started all 6 of the postseason games that they were in. What are you smoking?
Yeah, they got eliminated in the first round.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. But
every team he plays on gets beat in the first round.
That also is true, but the other portion is not true. He's a full-time starter at the age of 23 years old.
This guy's never been with a team that's ever won a playoff series.
That's true, but again, not what we had spoken about. Anyway,
sucks.
Yeah. Here's the thing. People filled your heads with delusions of grandeur that he could be so great, and he's not. He's exactly what we thought he was, and this team, in a large part, is exactly what we thought they were. If you, in the postseason, you're going to be playing series that are games or series that are 7 games long, or, best of 7. Well, guess what? You're going to be in a spot to where you're going to be playing all top-tier teams, all playoff caliber teams. We don't fare too well against those teams currently, and I don't think something's going to change. If we trade and add pieces to this deadline, it's going to be further digging ourselves into the hole. The damage was really done last year. We didn't do anything. That's when the damage was done. Look at how deep that 2022 draft class year is and the 2023 draft class year is. It's going to be like, oh, we're going to look back on that and say, wow, that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. And
how big of a mistake would you say?
It's just a mismanagement of assets.
It's a monster.
It really is. It's pathetic. It's pathetic on how poorly this guy manages the assets that we have on his team. We couldn't trade away Parise. Well, Parise's doing nothing. So seriously, you didn't trade away Parise that could have got you maybe a second, perhaps a 3rd round pick, Grump.
3rd round, probably.
So, okay, 3rd round, bare minimum 3rd round pick. I mean,
you move Varley and Mayfield. That's at least a first in 2 seconds, I would say.
Parise is not even playing anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You kept Parise because you thought, hey, he can win us a Stanley Cup. He's not even playing anymore. Oh, we'll bring him back. Yeah, how usually well do players do that take, a substantial portion of the season off and just say, I'm coming back into it at the age of 37 years old?
I will say that I think he would give 100% effort, but why would he want to go to the Islanders? He's only coming back to win. Why the hell would you go to the Islanders? They ain't winning. I'd probably go to Pittsburgh. Go to Pittsburgh. Go to Carolina. Go to Jersey. Go to the Rangers. You want to win? Go to one of those teams. You want to lose? That's when you go to the Islanders. We're just going nowhere. This team is going nowhere. You hear some of the line, oh, well, why do you want the team to be bad now? We were bad for so long. Because I want the team to be better in the long run. So you want to have another mediocre season where we're 9th, 10th in the conference and say, well, but look, if we had, 1,400 bounces and all the other teams died in plane crashes, we might have squeaked into the playoffs. Well, that's not what happens. We're not good enough. Look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's rejuvenated. Pittsburgh's absolutely making the playoffs. Book it. And Pittsburgh will make a move at the deadline if they need to. They would. If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm doubling down with that core. Look at the age of that core. You know what? Got Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Gensel.
Carlson.
I mean, how many more kicks in the cans they have?
Carlson.
1, 2 tops. Carlson. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Carlson.
And I don't think
worst defenseman. We were told, we were led to believe Carlson, worst defenseman in the league. It's a +12.
Hey, they just let him do whatever he wants out there in San Jose, and that's the only reason he had a decent season last year. He's going to come back this year, and he's going to have to ask to be played defense, and he's going to play like shit.
He makes them worse defensively. They're going to be the worst defensive team in the league. Well, I hate to tell you, their team has given up 106 goals, ours 135. If they're the worst defensive team in the league, what does that make us worse than the AHL? Because, shit, that's like 30 goal difference. I told you Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh. Told you Pittsburgh.
It's still early yet, but Pittsburgh definitely
Pittsburgh's making the playoffs. Book it. Book it. Pittsburgh's making playoffs. Absolutely. Devils making playoffs. Carolina. Well, Carolina, look, they're struggling. All of a sudden, they don't lose any more games. All of a sudden, no one scores on them anymore. Seems like they've righted the ship. Rangers, there's 4 teams right there. You're at best 5th in division. Let's say the Flyers keep it up. As doubtful as that is.
I was told the Flyers when I kept asking the question, at what point do we entertain the conversation that maybe the Flyers might make the postseason? Oh, the Flyers can never. They suck. They blow. And you're still in that camp. I just said, when do you start having the conversation?
I still don't think they make plays, but I'm going to tell you one thing about the Flyers. They're with John Tortorella, they're going in the right direction. That much I can tell you. Cutter Gauthier. 5th pick overall last year, says he didn't want to play there. And you know what John Tortorella says? I don't even know who he is. He don't want to play here. Get him out. I want to talk about the guys who are coming in the team.
Did he really? Did he really say that? Or you're bullshit?
Those are the guys I'm excited about.
Did he really say that, or you just you're exaggerating?
I'll pull the article up. You go.
No, don't worry. Okay, you can do that. I'll read the ad, Grumpy. You could go look that up. Get excited. I'll read the ad. Today's podcast is brought to you by DraftKings. We know hockey games move fast, but DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Again, you've heard us talk before about the great things you can do on DraftKings. The same game parlays. You could start adding, mixing, and matching to the same game. You could say against the Islanders when they face off here tomorrow against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm expecting the Islanders to shut out the Maple Leafs. You could say I'm expecting Matty B to get an assist. I'm expecting John Tavares to score back on the island. You could go ahead and mix and match a lot of different combinations in the same game for even bigger payouts and having a great time while doing so on DraftKings. But download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now with promo code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, that's with promo code THPN. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, you can call 877-8-HOPE-NY or you can text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available if you have a gambling problem. If you call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of the Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, you must be 21 years or older, but age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility, deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources.
I can play the video if you like.
Do you just want to send me the link maybe? Or
well, I did it on the laptop. I just look up Tortorella on Gauthier. trade.
Okay. I'll pull it up there. But essentially, he was unhappy about, or he's just pretending like he wasn't going to pay any attention to Gauthier.
He said, I don't even know who he is.
Well, obviously he knows who he is. Like that's just a lie, right? You're going to know who your fifth round. He was a fifth round pick in last year's draft.
No, he was the number 5 pick overall.
I'm sorry, the 5th overall pick. I'm sorry. Oh God. Yeah, here it is. Okay, I see it on ESPN talking about we don't want you. Oh God. Yeah. Now here's the thing. Tortorella is a guy he's usually good with a very, very short leash, and he's a guy who does well in short spans, but over time, he's not a guy who can last. He's got a very short shelf life, if you know what I mean. Jesus.
I think they're pretty happy in Philadelphia right now. I mean, honestly, would you say that Philadelphia is a top 6 team in the conference? I don't think so.
No. Philly is a team where go ahead, Grump.
They have just as many points as we do, though, somehow. Ahead of us in the standings because they have way more regulation wins. Novel approach, winning games in regulation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We're winning a lot of games. The games we do win, some go to overtime. We got a loser points, and that is not going to be good when you come down to tiebreakers. Okay, here's our video from John Tortorella. Who doesn't love a good torts?
He looks happy. Doesn't he look happy?
He's wearing like this all black turtleneck. My God, these
the death of Cutter Gauthier.
In Philadelphia and didn't want to play for the Flyers. What's your reaction to that?
Then we don't want you.
I believe you've met Cutter Gauthier before. Were you surprised that he?
I don't know Cutter from a hole in a wall, So, and I'm not too interested in talking about him. I'd rather talk about Jamie. He's the guy that's coming here.
Well, it was a long time coming. It's been going on for a while. We tried to give him space. We tried to get in touch with him many times. They would not communicate as far as the Gauthier side.
Can you just freaking Gauthier side? Your rights are owned by a team, and you will not communicate with them or return their phone calls. Are you fucking kidding me? Any thoughts on that, Grump?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everyone knows I don't like the Flyers. I think they got way too much nepotism. But what I mean by that is, unless you played for the Flyers or somehow affiliated with the Flyers organization throughout your life, you can't get a job there. Too much of that inbreeding with all Flyer guys. That being said, Briere seemed like he tried to kiss the kid's ass for a while. What happens if John Tortorella had a hole in his house? He walked up to it. Cutter, is that you? Because he said he didn't know him from a hole in the wall. I like that about John Tortorella. I bet he's not getting a Christmas card from Cutter Gauthier's family next year, though.
Well, I like how they tried to reach out to him, and Gauthier's camp wouldn't go ahead and return his contact back. I was like, gosh.
So at some point we had to make a decision, and we thought with what happened just a few days ago, this was our time to probably get the highest value. Not very often.
Wow, isn't that crazy? They're trying to sell the prospect's high point.
You get the chance to find a Jamie Drysdale that you can add to your lineup. When that came about and his name was made available, we got really excited and looked at us at the draft and told us he was built to be a Flyer, wanted to be a Flyer, and then a few months later told us that he didn't want to be a Flyer, didn't want to play for the Flyers. So in our mind at first, we said we have to protect him. We have to, because if he changes his mind again, and it's out there that he doesn't want to play, it's going to be tough for him to put the uniform on. But when we realized that they refused to talk to us, now it's been months, and he didn't want to be a Flyer, didn't want to be in Philadelphia. It was time to make it happen. It goes back. They told us when he came back from the World Championship last May, I believe.
I mean,
that entire situation's bizarre. I'll say that. But guess what? They didn't say, well, the guy doesn't want to be there. Well, let's hold on to him for 3 or 4 or 5 years and see. Maybe we'll be able to trick him into being a fan of the Flyers and wanting to stay here. They said, fuck it, see you later. We'll try to get in contact. We worked a little bit, but you didn't want to be here. As soon as your value's at your highest, you played well in the World Juniors, get your freaking bags packed and you're gone.
Let's see if we could let's see if we could grind his value into the dirt so he'll just be a throw-in along with the first-round draft pick for some 40-year-old ham and egger at the trade deadline. That's another approach they could have used. They could have said that approach.
They could have said, as a guy was coming back from injury, let's start off in training camp pairing him with Dintro Timashov and Dmitry Kuhlman, and then start him off as a healthy scratch for the first 10 games of the season and give him a few games sprinkled in where he played 8 minutes a night and say, oh, you're not good enough to play anymore. We found your replacement. And you're right. They're probably going to trade. They could have traded him away at the deadline for absolutely nothing with no value. What does that sound familiar to, Grumpy? It seems like that scenario is something I've seen before.
No, there were two approaches. You could do the proactive approach or the grind your prospect into the dirt, lower his value to nothing, and then just give him away as a throwaway. They're two different approaches. Or how about let him play for an inept general manager in the minor leagues and a shitty coaching staff so that they never develop. And then, hey, he's just as good as he was when he was 10 years old, flipping pucks on his stick, the Sports Center highlight. He never improved from then, playing for the AHL team. And why would we put a sniper on the first line? That sounds kind of dumb.
We've got
Let's
Anders
make him a third liner. Let's make him a grinder. Let's give a goal hanger opportunity after opportunity on the first line. And when he pisses that away, let's not even play the other guy. Let's take another Streety who's played for how many organizations that nobody wanted, and we sign for nothing and put him in the lineup with regularity. There's a reason why this team doesn't win. There are reasons. The old man needs to go. It's not 1990 anymore. It just isn't. The game has changed. Time for the Islanders to realize the old man has to go. Cannot stay with this organization if you want the team to be good. It's over. He served his purpose. The first 3 years were fine. After that, the second 3 years, F. I gave him grades. I give him an A- for the first 3 years and a freaking Z triple minus ever since. He's run this organization into the ground. He's running what? It's like a car blowing a tire and a guy just riding on the rims for 50 miles. That's what it's like. Going nowhere.
The worst thing is you're really going to see the adverse effects of him being general manager, like when he's general manager last year, GM this year, and he'll probably be GM the year after that too. You'll really start to see that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. When we do a rebuild, it's like, oh God, well, the rebuild kind of worked, but we're going to have to hit restart again from scratch. You had pieces you could have built around if you were smart last year at the trade deadline. Now, here's the thing. It's still reconcilable. You can still try to make the right decisions here. You won't do that though. If we're not in the postseason spot come the trade deadline, he's still going to add to this team. I book it now. This guy, and we're having this show on January 10th of 2024. Guess what? We called that well ahead of the time last year too, and made the tweet that he was going to do that. I still think he's going to add at this year's trade deadline. It's going to be the wrong decision again.
Okay. 2 years ago, we 20 points out of a playoff spot at trade deadline? What asshole doesn't sell assets when your team is 20 points out of a playoff spot on the trade deadline?
We were the only team that didn't make a single trade, acquiring anybody or trading away anybody at the trade deadline that
20
year.
points out of a playoff spot. We did get better as the year went towards the tail end. After Washington rested everybody, we were out by 16 at the end. And Sorokin got us in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
And Sorokin, I told you, if Sorokin's not an MVP, a Conn Smythe Trophy finalist this year, we're not making the playoffs. We're not making playoffs this year. And it's not because of Sorokin.
You mean
you can't give up 75 shots a game. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't give up 700 scoring chances in a week. You can't. The guy's going to be seeing rubber in his sleep. That's what it's like. Let's get the comments.
And you mean for the Vezina? You're not, if he's not a Vezina finalist, you're not going to be able to do that. You said Conn Smythe, but I know you meant Vezina. Joseph C. Joseph C. says here, wonder if
Tavares is traded now that the Leafs re-signed Nylander for 8 years, 90+ million. Hard for me to believe they can keep that core together, even with the higher salary cap. Well, salary cap's going up $10 million in the next couple of years. So, I mean, they could. His contract expires, I believe, the same as Marner's at the end of 24-25. So, I mean, who's going to make a trade for John Tavares?
Don't even fucking joke like that, grumpy old man. Could you see if the old man was still in charge, we could give up like Noah Dobson or somebody like that for John Tavares? Couldn't you see, because Noah Dobson is going to have a big contract extension possibly on the way. They'll be up. We'll take on some shit contracts. Hey, let's exchange them out.
2 firsts and a second, and Noah Dobson and whoever else.
No, that's
for John Tavares.
No, that wouldn't happen. Please.
Then sign him. He'll be what? 35 at the time. Sign him to a 5-year extension.
No.
Hey, let's go back to the glory days.
Glory days. Da, 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 da. No, I seriously, if they trade away John Tavares, tell me that would not be like, that would just be like a dagger to the heart if we tried to acquire John Tavares. Oh man, I don't know what they're going to do with their cap situation, but guess what? I will tell you this: Toronto, at least under Dubas, was very creative with cap space, was very creative with how to get rid of players. He did a great job year after year. They had good talented pieces around. They just didn't have the postseason results. And that's what, evidently moved him on the way out. What a shock. You have to produce in the postseason as well in order to keep a job. Nick D.
Grumpy, TJ, Sunex, how you guys doing tonight? We're a team of slugs proven by the Vancouver Canucks. Fire Lou Lamoriello immediately. 100% agree. 100%.
Absolutely. Drew L. Grumpy old man.
It's good to see all the numbnuts on Twitter saying Lane Lambert's the issue with this team. LOL. Yeah. Delusional. Freaking ridiculous.
Unless you had, what other Hall of Fame caliber coach like Barry Trotz can step in at this point? Are there any Hall of Fame coaches that are sitting out there?
Joel Quenneville.
Oh, wait a sec.
Okay, Joel Quenneville would absolutely not coach for Lou Lamoriello. I mean, think about what they did when he went to Florida. He turned that team around, 2-3 years? But here's the thing. They also got rid of the general manager. You can't have the same GM. You can't let the old man pick another coach. Can't do it. Trotz, successful for the first 3 years, very successful.
Yep. Coach Tommy B said TJ late again. He had to wash his hair. John Smith, Grump.
The team defense is 100% the issue. How fast they drop the Trotz tight D structure. I think they're doing that for a reason, because they know they can't score goals otherwise. How much offensive zone time did the Islanders spend? I mean, against a good team, we're never in the offensive zone. Maybe Barzell for a while and occasionally Nelson. That's it. I mean, I don't know what
the thing I'll also tell you here, at least about the offensive zone time or the lack thereof, and the Trotz system. Remember, the Trotz system is an absolute freaking grind. An absolute grind. It's total commitment, total effort, every single shift. It's easier to do that when you're younger and you have fresher legs. The older you get, the tougher that is to do. And I wonder if last year we went back to the Trotz system towards the tail end, but there was no way in hell last year's team could have said, let's play 82 games in the regular season, that Trotz style, exerting 1,000,000 miles in effort, or a huge percentage of effort every single night, and then be able to do that in the postseason. It's just not possible for this older team, I think, to do that anymore. But yeah, defense is absolutely the issue right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Coach Tommy B.
Good evening, gents. Islanders were dominated last night. Just say it again. Dominated last night. Plain and simple. Absolutely. And Matthew adds it right after. We got schooled last night. 100% agree.
Yep. And then Frank K. Grump.
Time for a new coach if they're not going to fire Lou. No. Sorry, but Sorokin isn't the same goalie this year at all. He's let in a lot of weakies. I know the D is trash, but this guy makes 8.5 starting next year. He's not looking like one. His positioning has been bad. The fourth goal was abysmal. Clutterbuck and Palmieri need to sit. They blow. It's not Sorokin's fault. It's not Sorokin's fault. Sorry. I mean, that our goaltending is the only reason we're not Columbus or Ottawa. I'm just going to tell you right now. We're worse than Ottawa. We're below Ottawa in the standings without Sorokin. Our defense is fucking invisible. It's like a shooting gallery. I'm sorry. Don't blame Sorokin. Don't blame the coach. This fucking mess is the old man at the top. That's the mess. What moves did he make in the offseason? Nothing. Nothing. Less than nothing. He's done nothing.
I will say this. For the Sorokin's going to make $8.5 million next year. I get it, right? Sorokin has absolutely out-earned his salary every single year he's been there. He's earning $4 million a year. Absolutely, he's out-earned every single season what he's been getting paid. And you know what? I'm going to roll the dice. As I've said a million times, goalies have good years and they have years they struggle. Is maybe this year he's struggling a bit? Perhaps. Does it help that we have absolutely zero team defense and that our goalie is getting left high to dry every single night? Does that hurt his numbers? Absolutely. But he's done everything you could want from the guy. Last year we weren't conceding 35 shots a night like we are this year, and we weren't conceding the most. We weren't in a spot where we were expected to give up the most goals in the NHL like we are this season. Oh, Sorokin needs to be so much higher on that saves above expected average. How can you do that if you're being point-blank opportunity after point-blank opportunity? And you worry about the effects it has on the goalie long-term, too, because it's like a quarterback who gets sacked 1 million times a season. You wonder what it does. Coach Tommy Baffy, Grump.
The Islanders blew worse than the Storm did. True.
Yeah. Joseph C. Grump.
Vancouver's just a buzzsaw, leading the league in goals scored and top 5 in goals against. Rick Tocchet's done a great job with them.
Yep. Ever since he took over last year.
You think Rick, like I said, they let a team that's a young team grow together, and they got a good coach. People forget what a great job he did in Arizona. Last time Arizona was relevant was when Tocchet was coach. He's good. I hate him because he's a former Flyer and Penguin, but he's a good coach. Got to give him credit where credit's due, right?
I'll say this here, too, at least about Vancouver. When he took over last year, it was a noticeable difference. Noticeable difference. David Sean McDonald, Grump.
So I decided to play hockey again after 20-plus years of having to be the responsible one, and boy, am I rusty. Well, it's probably because your skill set's gone, David.
Sorry. Oh, Grumpy.
Well, come on. You lose something over 20 years. I have the whole rink to myself. Vegas and hockey really don't mix. Not for the Islanders, anyway.
Coach Tommy said, Sun-X is the backbone of this show, hands down.
Tommy Baffy, wanting to make sure that he freaking gets his comments read, knows what to do. He gooses Sun-X a little bit with a comment like this, and there you go. See?
Oh, gosh. Tony, the werewolf cheese, Grumpy Old Man says, me and TJ are starting a history podcast.
It's interesting.
You hear it there, Grumpy. And Scott Mayfield is this year's Josh Bailey, says Vinnie Morgan.
No, that's Riley. Sorry. It's Riley.
Matthew asked Grump.
Read this comment, please, because I want to pull something up real quick.
Well, we failed miserably on those measuring sticks. Absolutely we did. Yep. And then Dan Leachin says here, this team is a 50-50 to make the playoffs and will flirt with around 95 points. That's who we are. We continue to mortgage the future for mediocrity. Not good. Yep. That's a problem. It's a problem that's going to be evident. And as we continue to double down on this, just gonna get worse and worse and worse. Tony the Werewolf Cheese, grumpy old man.
I don't know how you guys come on and talk about this team twice a week for 2 hours. It's been the same exact story for the past 3 seasons. Lou and much of this fan base are holding on to COVID. Yeah, I mean, that's the only time we were good was during COVID. Guess what? COVID's over. So was the team winning.
The only time we excelled was when we had these time periods to where, the seasons were shortened and we played the Barry Trotz style.
True.
What the hell are you chewing on your water again, Grumpy?
Yeah, got ice in there.
Ah, that's right. Shit, I forgot you put ice in there.
No, I don't put ice in there. I freeze it so it gets a little ice crystals in there so it stays nice and cold for during the show. Because I'm not somebody who just wanders away from the podcast, goes to the bathroom or do whatever you do, just disappear.
Well,
I'm not like that.
Grumpy, why do you need your water to be cold? What's wrong with a little warm water?
I'm not a moron like you.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with warm water, Grumpy. Come on now.
Well, knock yourself out. Drink one more. I don't care. Angelo says the team is not good enough. Exactly. Even the dog knows. He's cocking his head. He's like, yeah. That's what he's going. Not good enough.
Whole of the COVID seasons. John Smith, Grump.
The lack of compete is really concerning with this team. No one looks like they're trying. I don't think that's the case. I just think that they're old. They're not very good. The NHL has passed them by. Look at the teams that give us problems. I've been saying it for years. Teams that have speed and are aggressive on the forecheck. It's like we cannot compete with a team like that unless you got yourself a Carolina third string goalie in there.
You want to know what pisses me off is it's a
lot of things.
It's a time period. Just get back to chewing your fucking ice, Grumpy. It's a time period to where the league's goaltending is so miserable that our goalies are head over heels better than all the other goalies in the NHL. But because we're so deficient in other areas, we're just an average team. Our goaltending, if you put them on a team that really had a lot of pieces together, would be the best team. Our goaltending is spectacular. Varley and Sorokin are spectacular. But it's because we're so deficient elsewhere that we're just not able to make the thing go right. But besides average, Vinnie Morgan, Grump.
I'll predict tomorrow's game. I'll be there. Third period, Islanders have a 4-1 lead, losing OT 5-4. No. That game's going to be regulation loss. Just to let you know, the Scummy Flyers beat the Canadians in shootout today. Just to let you know.
Canadians. And then Puttenberg Curtis
says Grump has been in full form lately. It's true. I have been.
He absolutely has.
Dan and those wonderful babies, there they are. It says, and Engvall, second line left wing with power play time is on pace for 10 goals. Yes, the cap hit is low, but we have 6.5 more years of this. You don't sign those guys. Okay, here's our internal thing. Engvall, what did he make last year? Like $1.5 million, whatever it was. Sure. We'll offer you 2.5 for 3 years.
3 years. Then fine with that.
And he said, nope, I can get 4.5. Bye-bye. Don't let door hit you on the way out. You look at him. Oh, man, this is great. Because he knows he's a freaking ham and egger whose career was probably going to be over in a year or two. He got 7 years. His wife's like, woo, yes, sir. Come on home, Pierre. We're going to have fun tonight. Tony the werewolf cheese says, can you read it? What's his name, TJ?
Tony the werewolf cheese.
It's not werewolf, even though it's spelled werewolf.
That's spelled werewolf, Grumpy.
But it's werewolf. I tune in just to see if TJ went to work with the radio playing. Nope.
What a
loser.
Radio.
What a loser.
I'm on the zero radio these days.
Zero radio. What do you do? Do you yell at the drivers?
I sit in silence.
In silence. You're trying to tell me you don't yell at drivers?
I do that too, but I sit in silence.
Okay. Believe me, you're vile in your comments about drivers. You're like the definition of road rage waiting to happen.
Sure.
I'm glad you only live like 10 minutes from work, because otherwise there'd be fatalities where you live. Vinnie Morgan says, and everyone will just saying it's just one game. Yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of these games that are just kind of piling up now. We're getting it's not that we're losing and getting blown out, which we are, but it's just how badly we're being dominated. Total domination. We get lucky sometimes by throwing the puck at somebody's feet, a guy racing by, they get a goal, and then Sorokin wins the game for us by making 15 spectacular saves. But the vast majority of the time against good teams just doesn't happen.
It's more, yeah, exactly right. A lot of the people are just like, oh, it's just one game. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's just an off game against the Penguins. That's all that is. It's a lot more than just an off game against the Penguins. It is the normal. Drew L., grumpy old man.
I just tuned in to see TJ's cat makeout session. Well, if you didn't come in early, you'll miss that too.
Yep. Vincent S. says here, I 100% agree with the grumpy old man. This Islanders team is no good.
Vincent, I just like to say you got yourself a lovely family there.
Absolutely. Mikey D.
Mikey D says some Lamanites are in too much denial about this team and the league. Example, they still think we're better than the Rangers and that Lafreniere is a bust. Another example, Toronto's bad. Yeah, Toronto's not bad. Okay. Toronto's playing really well defensively, and now they're starting to score. Nylander's happy as hell, just got that contract, and he had 2 goals. First night back. Well, yeah, got my bag. Going to go out there and light it up. Going to keep it up tomorrow night. Guarantee you that.
I cannot believe. Yeah, I do remember there are certain Lamanites who are telling me telling us that, hey, yes, Lafreniere is a bust. They're also telling us that, the reason Sorokin isn't stopping every single shot that comes his way is because, he got the bag. He signed a big contract and now he's been lazy.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, you know what? That's okay. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion, but Lafreniere's got 25 points. Pretty good.
That
10
sucks,
goals.
and he's 22 years old, and he's got more points than Simon Holmstrom. I wonder if Lafreniere was on the Islanders, how many congratulations posts we'd see of him every single day. Oh man, Lafreniere looks so great. He's fantastic.
He's the future of the team.
Oh yeah, he's young. You guys just don't love him. He's young and he's offering scoring. He's exactly what you want.
What did I say about Lafreniere? I'm like, you know what? He's 21 years old. He's 21 years old, playing on the big team, playing on the third line. It's not a skill set. What do you know? He moves up to a scoring line. All of a sudden, he's able to score. Amazing. And here's the thing. The Rangers are better than us. The head Lamanite has told us Peter Laviolette knows what he's doing against the Islanders. He knows how to shut the Islanders down. So I asked the head Lamanite, do we have any shot of beating the Rangers? Oh, yeah, we do. I'm like, really? Because you said we can't beat a Peter Laviolette team, and they're better than we are. And they know how to stop us. It's easy to stop us, honestly. Just put the puck on the ice. That's all I got to do.
Lou is gone after this season, says Matthew C. I'd like to believe that, but I don't think it.
I bet he's not.
I'd like to believe that, but I just don't think that's the case. He'll be here as long as he wants, is the unfortunate truth of it. So until he steps down, I think he'll be here. He's got a lifetime contract. Ponyboy Curtis Grump.
Boys, I'm in the hospital fighting a deadly flesh-eating and bone disintegrating infection in my hand. No joke. Been here since the holidays. Keep old Ponyboy in your thoughts and prayers. Man. Dude, yeah, we don't like to hear that. Don't know how you got it, but shit, that sucks.
Well,
I don't even think I'm overhyping that. That sucks.
Ponyboy, absolutely. And thoughts and prayers, my friend. I hope you start feeling better, man. I know the Islanders are offering very little in the form of comfort these days, but I hope you start feeling better, man. I hope the antibiotic, I don't know. And when he starts getting that type of stuff, I just hope they get you fixed, buddy. Alex Hinchy, Grump.
Grumpy, be glad you're not on Twitter. A lot of fans are calling Sorokin overrated, all because he's having a down year. You want to know why I'm not on Twitter? Because most people on Twitter, and I'm sure you are, Alex, you're excluded, are freaking morons. They got IQs. They're like, as Lou Albano used to say, their brains are the size of dehydrated BBs. You stick it into a parakeet, zing, it flies backwards. That's what I think about most of the people on Twitter. You want to know who's the leader of the dehydrated BB brain? The head Lamanite and his ilk. Those are the ones. They can't even come up with some flowery thing right now for how bad the Islanders are looking. Can't do it.
Pointed by Curtis. He sent me a picture of it. It does not look good. I was like,
I don't want to see it.
You want me to put it up? No, I'm just kidding.
I do no one wants to see it, and I absolutely don't want to see it.
I'll send you pictures, Grumpy. I'll send you pictures. You can
no
wake
offense,
up.
Tony Boy. I don't like looking at stuff like that. Joe G says, "I get better though. Seriously, hopefully they have figured out how to help you out. That's all I hope."
Yeah. Oof.
Joe G says, "I don't understand the approach. Honestly, I watched both games for Vancouver versus the Rangers. The Islanders, neither team bothered forechecking and tried to limit all the high danger chances. Vancouver's fast." Quinn Hughes, I tell you what, he plays no defense, but holy shit, can that kid make moves at high speed? He was flying up the ice yesterday. The puck kind of went behind him a little bit. He kicks it up at full speed from behind him up to his stick and walks in on the goalie. I'm like, holy shit. The kid's he's got mad offensive skills. He plays no defense, though. None.
Yeah. James F. Grump.
Guys, I'm watching women's hockey, Minnesota versus Toronto. The arena has one side fans, the other side of the
other side of the arena, no fans. TJ, pop that up on screen. Oh, God.
There you go. That's how they make it seem like it's a freaking sellout. There you go.
Grumpy.
Yeah, stop. Hey, you know what? Knock yourself out, James. Drew says, I also tune in to see Grumpy's reaction when anything happens on the TV.
They're, by the way, oh my gosh, they're at the, oh geez. I think, oh my gosh, it's at the Islanders. It's at UBS Arena. I'm sorry. They seem to be Islander fans, maybe, though. Oh my God.
Maybe you bought a ticket to an Islander game and they gave you tickets for the full women's season. Why the hell?
No, Grumpy, here it is. I'll show you. I will say this: they are a fan, and I just want you to take a look at these two ladies, and you will not be shocked once you see one of them has an expression on their face, and she's trying to imitate the person's jersey that she's wearing.
One of them looks like freaking
Captain Frowny Face.
Oh, I thought actually
Horvat.
I thought one of them was Simon Holmstrom.
No, stop.
The one on the right looked like Simon Holmstrom to me.
Don't be jealous of Simon Holmstrom, Grumpy. You love Simon. You know Simon Holmstrom. Come on, Grump. Yeah.
Why can't we move him?
Well, Michael M.
Michael Moisa. He's one of the Lamanites.
No, he's not.
Well, guys.
Maybe he is.
He is one of the Lamanites. Have you guys considered a live heart monitor on screen for Grumpy?
That would be funny. Grumpy, we need you to calm down. Matthew S.
You know, we didn't see from we do like Michael. All right, we do. And anybody that I pick on, and here's the thing, older people realize this. When you're picking on people, it means you like them. Okay. You know what we didn't see from Michael today? Any comments on how great the Islanders are? He just came out and he tried to attack the grumpy old man. That's okay, Michael. I know why you did it. That's all right. I just want to tell everybody why. Matthew S. once again says, seems like so many organizations are able to tear it down and build it up right away, better and quicker than we do for the longest time. 31 years now of this BS as a fan.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah. Coach Tommy B says Pellick was terrible last night, but first game back, so he gets a pass. I agree. First game back, I'm not going to pick holes in his play. First game in 20 games.
You know what? Was he really good before he got hurt?
I don't think he's anywhere.
No, the answer is no, he wasn't.
I just said
Dobson had to bail his ass out.
Ooh,
still, I want him and Dobson on the same pairing.
Mr. Meat said, Mr. Meat. I like that. He says,
Meat.
Grumpy is correct and realistic.
Hold on, I got to make this bigger on my screen so I can see it. Man, that's old school car there, isn't it? The old drag racer. All right. Grumpy is correct and realistic. Team just isn't that good. I still cheer for them, but expect to be disappointed more often than not. Yeah, it's the truth. I just wish I saw a path going forward. Right now, I don't see one.
Thomas Amadeo, Grump.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I like Thomas Amadeo. He's on to something, Grumpy. He's cooking. Let him cook, Grump.
TJ's 100% right.
Yeah.
What's that,
Grumpy, reread that first portion of the comment again one more time. I'm sorry about that, Grump.
TJ is 100% right.
Wow.
We're going to get a forward and give up an arm and a leg for it. We need to keep that first round pick. That's gone. If we make a deal, you know what? A GMs come up and they go, the old man's on the phone. Great. Thank God he called us first.
Patch him right through. I don't know what I was doing right now, but I need to rearrange my schedule. Yes.
Hold on.
Through.
Hold on. I'm going in for a heart procedure. Doc, put it off. I got that lead laminate on the line.
Oh, no. Here you go. Drew L. Grumpy.
Drew says, yet we have a 2-time AHL All-Star in Ruslan Ishikov that still hasn't been called up yet. Lou is a joke. Fire Lou, and I guarantee you the first move that happens is that Ishikov is on the Islanders. You know who we haven't heard from recently? Shea.
Yeah.
Remember Shea?
For a long time. Yeah. Of course I remember Shea.
Hope Shea's okay.
Like John P. There's a lot of fans we haven't heard from a long time. I hope the Islanders didn't finally kill him. Coach Tommy B says here, maybe the Islanders can hire Nick Saban or Pete Carroll. Yeah, they're great. They're great motivators of men. Grumpy. Nick D. Grump.
Best case scenario, Lou trades Wallstrom a first, and we miss the playoffs. Maybe then the owners will get off their ass and fire Lou. Like you said, Grump, we're in dark times. We're not in the dark times yet, but it's okay. But it's like you can tell the street lights are starting to come on. You know, they come in before it gets dark. You can tell they're starting to flicker. They start flickering a little bit before they come on. That's where we are.
Oh, the bad thing is that we're about to lose power. We're about to have a freaking outage that covers the entire state of New York, the entire area of Belmont. Hey, Frank says, hey, what's up, Frank? How are you? David Sean McDonald says, new coach. Laughing my ass off. How about a new freaking lineup? Yeah. Coach Tommy B says here, what are your thoughts on the Gauthier or the Gauthier trade and situation? I think we shared that there earlier. Tim J says here, we need to trade like Varlamov, Wallstrom, and throw in a Palmer and see what we get. An Arnold Palmer, maybe. Yeah. Varley at this point, he's playing well, but I'm like, he's got a no trade clause, Tim. That's the unfortunate thing. He's got a no trade clause. Adam P. Grumpy.
Wow, that's like Ghostbusters 2, the villain in Ghostbusters 2. Adam P. says, Grumpy, I'm trashed in many Facebook groups for stating things like you guys, and I'm not repeating what you say. I have my own ideas, and I'm vilified for it. Adam, I don't care if you repeat what I say. And guess what? Those peoples, they're fucking pussies. Here's the thing. Just because, you know what? There's nothing wrong with being smarter than the average fan. There's nothing wrong.
People try to take, and this is the one thing I've never understood. It's because they put so much worth into the team they root for that because I don't see exactly the same way you do that, I'm attacking the team.
You're not a fan. You're not a fan.
I'm attacking their identity. I'm attacking what they put their entire life into. And I'm like, here's the thing. I cheer for my team. I cheer for my team. I root for my team, but I cannot blindly cheer for a product that I know isn't good enough. And I could see it's like, alrighty, I'm not looking at, okay, if we do well today and we win a game, I'm going to be happy today. I'm trying to play it out and say, okay, great. Maybe I'll have some good days. I'm going to have some bad days cheering for the Islanders in the regular season. What does this look like in the postseason? Can we ever win a Stanley Cup? How does that look? How does that play out? And it's like, well, we're not good enough to win a Stanley Cup. Well, shit, I want to get to a spot to where I could say, I firmly believe my team's a Stanley Cup contender. Does anybody out there believe that this team is firmly a Stanley Cup contender? Seriously, does anybody believe out there listening? Maybe you're listening live, you're listening in post. Does anybody believe that this team right now is a Stanley Cup contender? Does anybody out there believe, hey, if we just add our magical forward A or a defenseman B, that now the team is a Stanley Cup contender? Just interested.
Just to let people know, the Islanders, not counting, the loser point, 4-8 in their last 12 games.
Hey.
Funny Boy says, Are you guys surprised that we're halfway through the season and Croc Nelson is on pace for a similar season as he had last year? Isn't every year that Croc Nelson performs well supposed to be the last year that Croc Nelson could ever have a career year? Okay. If you do the same thing as the year before, it's not a career year. That's where you do one thing.
Grumpy does not like Brock. That's the difference.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with him. I'm fine with him.
Sure,
you know what? He scores an awful lot of goals when games are meaningless losses. He does that. He's very good at that. And he scores in October. That's what he does. I mean, has he been? He's been okay this year. Nothing wrong with that.
Is X still in the chat? Is X still starring comments, Grumpy?
I don't know. How the hell do I know?
I'm trying to message him. He's not. Funny Curtis says here, yeah, this last year I had a good career. Drew L, grumpy old man.
Can't wait to have P.A. Parento Jr. on our roster in 5 years. Once Lou can't even stand on his own 2 feet and has to go to a nursing home. That's fine.
I'm telling you.
And Adam P.
I was about to say with Lou, I was talking with Grumpy about this. I'm like, the reason I'm asking this question too is Nick Saban, right? As much as Lou, I think, is past his peak, he's lost his fastball. Nick Saban retired today. You know, Pete Carroll done. You wonder if he's going to coach again. And you start looking at some of these guys who are older. Now, coaching takes a lot more. I'd say it takes a lot more than being a general manager. But, you know, Lou Lamoriello is also a decade older than those guys. It just makes you wonder, at 82 years old, how much longer do we realistically expect Lou Lamoriello to be as a general manager for this team?
How much work does Lou Lamoriello do? He hasn't made a fucking move since the trade deadline. He makes one bad trade every trade deadline, and then that's it for the year. He works, what, 1 day a year? Come on. He did nothing in the offseason. He took off the summer. Sounds like other people I know. Take off the whole summer.
Adam P said here, TJ and Grumpy, clearly we can knock long-term contracts, but it goes back to our own main premise is that there are no top tier unrestricted free agents that want to play on Long Island. So Lou must overpay in both term and dollar amount to keep anybody on the roster. I will say this about that. I think that there's no excuse to the reason why we can't bring in a top tier free agent. We can offer the money. We've got the state-of-the-art arena. You play in New York. It's not like you play in a small market. There is no excuse. The only excuse, it was originally maybe the style under Barry Trotz, but maybe it's the draconian regime of Lou Lamoriello. No facial hair. Got to make sure your hair is at least off your collar. You got to do this. Maybe it's something like that. I mean, shit, you got players who just don't even respond back to the general managers and head coaches anymore, these young kids. I want to say it probably doesn't go over too well when you're in a spot where you think, hey, we're going to put together a whole bunch of these rules and restrictions that are way old school. Maybe the young kids don't like that.
See, that's the way players are just different. Athletes are just different now.
They're different now than they were then.
And I just don't think an 80-year-old can identify with them.
Yeah.
I mean, he trades for guys and he overpays to keep them. And they all say yes because you know what? They want the money. I think the organization needs a clean sweep. Before, they didn't want to play for the Islanders. There's always excuses why players don't want to play for the Islanders. If you pay them, they will come. Maybe they don't like the style of play. Change the style of play. Play like a modern NHL team. How many free agents was Vancouver signing when they sucked? Not too many. Now they got the young guys. Now it's a destination. Certain franchises are destinations. The Rangers are a destination. Islanders aren't.
You want to get a little kick out of this, Grumpy? I want to get a kick out of this. So there's never been a general manager in the history of the NHL that's ever been 80 years old except Lou Lamoriello.
Look at how long they lasted. Look at how long they lasted.
All of these GMs that are in their 70s.
2 years.
2 years, 8 months. A year, 1 month and 16 days. Probably his interim. 2 years, 9 months.
Frank Selke was the first general manager for the California Golden Seals.
Jesus. Look at this. And now you got Lou Lamoriello.
Interim. Look, they all have interim tags after him.
Yeah, interim. Yeah, look at that. Interim. Oh, look, Lou Lamoriello. He was with Toronto. He was Toronto. Think about this. Real quick, when he was GM with Toronto, he was the second oldest GM in the history of the NHL. The only one older is Frank Selke. Yep. And guess what? He's the only general manager that's ever 80 years old and being a general manager.
Disgraceful.
I'm just like, maybe we're not. Look at how many even just made it to their 70s, Grump. You've only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, maybe I counted Lamoriello.
Two of them are the same guy.
5 general managers.
The piece of shit we have is on this list twice. It's like the Beatles. How many #1 songs, right? The Beatles. Oh, Elvis. Lou Lamoriello. This is not a list you want to be on twice. Well, he probably does, but your franchise doesn't want him on there twice.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
When are they going to cut the cord with this guy?
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Jesus. Oh.
Look at how much money he's pissed away in 5 years. Almost $1 billion, and our team sucks.
This cannot be real, is it? No way. The value may not be exhausted. Only considers a contract stored. It's just a contract stored, so I don't know what the hell that means. I'm not going to say.
That's contract's value. That's how much money he has spent for the Islanders ownership, and we suck.
We're average. We don't suck. We're average.
If you're not first, you're last.
Oh, come on. Come on, Grumpy.
Ricky Bob.
Here you go. Tommy B, Grump.
Lambert sits Bolduc, who was playing solid too for that bum Aho. Yeah, I think Bolduc has more upside than Aho. Play Bolduc. Sit Mike Riley. We saw that matador. Shit. Was that not horrible defending?
And here's the thing. If you don't show clips, these people gaslight you online. Like, no, you just don't understand. You don't understand hockey. You must be watching a different game than me. Mike Riley shoots every single puck that comes near him, and that makes him a great defenseman. He's fantastic. How did that play look right there from him? Was that good?
They don't watch hockey. They don't watch hockey. The little Poindexters who flipped it, who go through their analytics. Watch the game, Poindexter. Watch it, you pencil pushing bastard. Watch the fucking game. Maybe you'll learn something.
Frank Grumpy.
Bastards. Frank says, yeah, Holmstrom's cooled off. Time for Wally. Wally needs to play for 10 games. They gave all the last season to Wahlstrom, and he sucked. He does suck. Here's the thing. He's an average third line player. He's a guy that you could replace with a fucking broom handle. There's nothing special about Casper Holmstrom. Nothing. If he's not goal hanging, and that's cooled off because guess what? Teams have woke up to it. Oh, yeah. He likes to this number 10, this piece of shit, who you look at him, you don't even think he's on a team. He likes to goal hang. You got to watch out. Occasionally, when we're playing our 8th string goalie, he can pop one in. I said, Pajot likes to pass to him. They like to have that 2-on-1 when we're a guy down. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to control the puck in the zone all night and just let him stand around. You ever notice when he's on the ice, he just stands there. He doesn't move. He does nothing. He just stands there in the middle of the ice. I could do that. I don't even need skates to do what he does. Just stand there in the middle of the ice. Just stand there. He never moves because he sucks.
David Sean McDonald, Grump.
First of all, if you're surprised and shocked by this team's average at best play, you might as well keep your head firmly up your own keister. This is what we've been for decades. True. Except for the 2 years, actually the first 3 years of Trotz. That's when if you were going to make a move, you should have done it after the first Tampa loss. That's when you needed to make a big move to make your team better. We didn't do it. And that's why we lost to them the second time. We didn't do anything again. And I said, right then, this team is never winning. Never winning with this group. And I'll be proved right. Without a doubt.
And here's the thing. People, and now we start to get to this where people start trying to argue the semantics. Well, most teams don't win the Stanley Cup. And when you use that as a metric, well, it's just an easy cop out, right? You're not going to, most teams don't win. So you're just saying we're not going to win the
We're
Stanley
not fun to watch either. We're not, unless you want to watch the other team dominate in our defensive zone, we're not fun to watch either. Unless you want to watch our defensemen pretend like they play defense like number 2, maybe that's fun for you. It's not fun for me.
That's the point I was about to bring up there next, right? Not only we don't have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, but when you watch us play, are you entertained? When we played Vancouver, were you like, wow, I like that game. That was fun. How about Vegas? Were you saying, man, I just couldn't wait for period 2 and period 3 to start because I was having that much fun? No. When you play shitty teams like Arizona, I'll get facetious text messages saying, hey, man, I'm having so much fun. These Islanders teams they're so enjoyable. It's so much fun to watch. But guess what? When you watch them play normal teams, you watch them play good teams, we're hard to watch. It's painful to watch our team. I watch sports for enjoyment. That's what we all do. Why do we support the teams we like? Why do we like watching sports? It's entertainment. It brings us fun. It's supposed to bring us joy. True. When we play good teams, are the Islanders bringing you joy? They're not bringing me joy when we play good teams. And unfortunately, in the postseason, we're not playing Columbus, and we're not playing San Jose, and we're not playing Arizona. We're going to be playing good teams.
Not for long.
I hope blows, says Matthew
Maybe
S.
a week to 10 days. That's it.
If we make it. Frank says Sorokin should have Billy Smith's his ass. Well, yeah.
Talking about the Vegas guy.
Robert Harley, Grump.
Hey, Grumpy, how you doing? It's been about a year since the Horvat trade, and as much as I love Bo, but not at the contract he's got. And look at the Canucks now. Grumpy, you're still a great-looking guy. Why, thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Yep, it's been a year. Well, it's not quite been a year, has it? I guess it has. I think it was February. No, I think that trade was in February. Was it not in February?
Grumpy, we just found Grumpy's alt account. His alternative account is this Robert Harley fella who just cannot stop loving on Grumpy. He speaks so complimentary of the grumpy old man. But yes, we traded for Bo Horvat before the deadline, a few weeks before the deadline. It was at the NHL All-Star game because Bo Horvat was an NHL All-Star and he wound up being traded to the Islanders on the All-Star break. So we are coming up on the almost a year anniversary of Bo Horvat. And guess what? We're not in much better shape this year than we were last year. People are going to use that to say, great, we overcame this last year. We can do it again this year. And now we've got a healthy Matt Barzal, too, in our lineup. So that makes things even easier.
The good news about us trading for a player at the deadline is we won't be able to sign him to a really huge contract because we have no salary cap money for next year. $5 million.
They'll find a way. Grump. Freedom Funded Adventure.
I can't stand Arthur Staple. The dude is snide. I'm so thankful for Sorokin. This team would be constantly in the top 4 of the draft order if not for Sorokin. Yeah, he believes it too.
Yeah.
He was just stating facts.
Yep. Straight facts.
He was just stating facts. I mean, it's nothing, facts are a painful thing for a lot of people. They are, but it's just facts. The team is just terrible defensively. You can blame the coach if you want. You could blame the players. I don't think there's anywhere to go with this team. I just don't think we can beat anybody good. Can we go back to the trot system and play that for a while? Sure. Maybe. But then get used to like 1 and 2 goal nights. That's entertaining. That'll bring the people in. Maybe they could put them all on one side of the stadium like they do for the women's hockey game.
How long before you start before we start to hear fire lane chants in the stadium again?
Still, their record's been, they've gotten a lot of points in the last 25 or so games. We're playing good teams. We don't beat good teams. We just don't. We beat Carolina twice with their 8th string goaltender. Who just absolutely shit the bed against us. Right? But here's the thing. Now Tristan Jarry even beats us.
I told you and Phil, when we had our show at the beginning of the year, and I told you Tristan Jarry's an above average goalie. You both laughed me off the stage. He sucks. Jarry sucks. I said, Jarry, before the neck injury last year, was having a good season. He came back from it. I thought he was still banged up. And here's the thing. Jarry sucks against us. He managed to shut us out this season. So, I don't know. Here's the thing. Jarry doesn't blow. Jarry's an above average goalie. The only reason Pittsburgh didn't make the postseason last year is because Jarry absolutely shit the bed. Every opportunity he was given last year, he shit the bed. Well, he's not doing that this year. And guess what? The guy Nedeljkovic, who I've always told you, man, I like Nedeljkovic. I always like Nedeljkovic. Well, he's doing an okay job for them too. Looking at the standings of where the Islanders lie, we've played 40 games so far this season. We have 46 points on them. Let's say we win tomorrow.
We're not winning
against Toronto.
Don't even say we're winning. We're not. We're losing to Toronto.
Let's say we win tomorrow, grumpy old man. Well, heck, Grump. That puts us at a pace.
Tooth Fairy coming tonight to your house.
Was that, Grump?
Is a Tooth Fairy coming to your house tonight? Santa Claus stopping by, the Easter Bunny?
Why are you asking me?
We got a winning.
To see a freaking fictitious character. Oh, goodness gracious, Grump. I'll tell you here this, right? If we win tomorrow, we'll be on a pace. We'll have played 41 games in the season. Best case scenario, we're on pace for 96 points in a year. If we lose tomorrow, we're on pace for 92 points in the season. Both of those are not good enough to make the postseason. But and guess what? There's a lot of teams that have they've got a lot of games in hand over us too.
Yeah, but I think 92 points made the playoffs last year, didn't it? Didn't Florida have 92?
I will tell you, Grump. Trying to remember here. Florida had 92. Yep.
We had 93, I believe.
Well, here's the problem with us, though. We've had all of our games, we're getting loser points in overtime. So we will not have regulation wins advantage over any team. So that's the problem. We've won like 4 or 5 games in overtime. We have 18 wins. Think about this. We have the second least amount of wins in the Metro Division, despite having played 40 games. The only team with less wins in our division than us is the Blue Jackets. The Penguins have more wins than us. The Capitals have more wins than us. The Devils, the Flyers, the Hurricanes, the Rangers. Oh, look at this. Wow. We only have one more win than the Sabres. One more win than the Canadians.
Yeah, we have a lot more points than they do, though.
Well, that because we have loser points in overtime. That's correct.
But
I'm talking about for tiebreakers. I'm talking about for tie-breaking purposes.
We're 8 points up on some of those teams. They're not catching us. You don't think Buffalo's catching us, do you?
I'm just talking about, here's the thing. I'm talking about, right, when we look at it, all these teams have more wins than us. They all have more regulation wins than us too, Grump. Right? So the Lightning may make the postseason. They might not. But guess what? They're going to be a team that has more regulation wins than us. Right? The Maple Leafs, they're going to have more regulation wins than us. Same thing with the Panthers, same thing with the Bruins. And guess what? If the Red Wings are fighting for a playoff spot, they're going to have more regulation wins than us by the end of the season. And every team in our division, doesn't matter which it is, whether the Capitals get hot, the Penguins, the Devils, all of those teams have more regulation wins than us. That's my point. When you're not getting any regulation wins, all the tiebreakers go to every other team. So you're going to have enough points. It's not like you can we're tied at the end of the season and squeak our way in. Absolutely not. We will not make it in if we're tied with any team at the end of the season. So, got to win games. Michael M.
The non-numbers people think Riley's the problem. Okay. In other words, you might as well say this, Michael. The people with brains realize that Riley's the problem with the defense. The guy's playing 8 minutes a game, which is probably 10 minutes too much. And he's generating a ton the other way, giving up less our way. You're wrong. Watch the game. Stop looking at the fucking numbers and watch the game. Watch that. We showed the video. He's a fucking piece of shit when he's on the ice. He's a liability in the defensive end. When was the last time you didn't see him doing fucking snow angels anytime somebody rushes down the ice? Because he can't play defense. He got cut. I mean, cut. Not traded, cut. We're an organization that says, you know what? We can't even use you in the minors to help somebody else. We can't even give you a job.
He got waived. You picked him up off of waivers.
We can't even see him with an ECHL affiliate because he sucks so bad. Somehow he's got a job here. He blows.
Well, Freedom Fund Adventure Group.
Good evening, Grumpy TJ and Glory Boy X.
Look at this
tonight.
The Freedom Fund Adventure.
Stay glorious, Glory Boy X. A little play on Stay Golden, Pony Boy. Stay glorious, Glory Boy X.
They know what to do to get X to star their comments.
Yes, X. Now X signs off after 2 hours. He's like, that's it. 2 hours.
I can't even get X to work for the full 2 hours. He works for 30 minutes and he tunes out and he turns in for another 30 if that.
This should be fun. Brock is amazing, says Frank.
I like Brock too.
I was thinking how I always say, imagine Narzi and Bo had a real left winger. Well, imagine if Brock had 2 real wingers.
I think Kyle Palmieri plays well with Brock Nelson, and I think Engvall is okay. He's a third line guy. There's definitely worse. Here's the thing: we're not pairing Brock Nelson up with Anders Lee like we are Matt Barzal and Bo Horvat, and it makes you think. Okay, if we did have a legitimate first line left winger instead of Anders Lee, we'd be a better team. I still don't think systematically we'd be good enough to win a cup, but we'd be a better team. If we added, I think we would be like, hey, I'd feel more confident about us making the postseason. But again, the goal is not to just make the postseason. Do you think, let's say Tampa doesn't start turning shit around after the All-Star break. Do you think Tampa's going to say, yeah, well, Tampa's a little different. I'll say Tampa's a little different. They've won multiple cups. There's a team with multiple future first ballot Hall of Famers. They got a lot of older players. But here's the thing. If Tampa were to struggle and they continue to struggle and they struggle after the All-Star break, Tampa should start selling assets. Start selling when you can.
Realize that Tampa plays us a number of times this year. Those are automatic wins for them.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Wait, Rangers. 4 times we lose to the Rangers this year. How's that? And that's all regulation losses.
Yeah, that's right. We haven't played the Rangers yet this season. Oh, God.
Those are automatic losses.
No. And we got to at least play the Penguins once more, too. Michael.
Ain't beating them.
Michael.
If none of that shit matters, Grump, why are we defending an $8 million goalie giving up 5 goals a game? What shit?
I don't know. I'm an Ilya defender, but you
Sounds
own
like
your crease.
But own your crease. Oh, okay. You don't know why? Okay, you want to know why it matters? What matters? You know what matters? That fucking Mike Riley's on damn defense. It's like 5-on-0.
You know what we'd be doing? You'd be complaining if he's trying to push and he has his hands out pushing and they take a wrister and they put it in because the goalie's distracted trying to clear out space. The goalie's job is not to say, hey, buddy, we're going to let people lay right in front of you, and your job is not only to crank your neck around, but to go ahead and own your crease and push them out of the way. No, you're a defenseman in the postseason. And as it always is, your defenseman's job is to clear out and give the goalie a clear view of vision to make the save. But our defenseman is too busy playing like a 7-year-old playing youth soccer, following the soccer ball, saying bzzz, like a bumblebee. He's like, uh-oh, we give him a goal.
He's terrible. Mike Riley blows. I like, honestly, Bertuzzo didn't move much, but at least he knew where to stand. I thought he was way better than Mike Riley. Mike Riley, again, and Mike Moyser just proved my point, thought he was a fucking winger. He thought he was a winger. Dude, you're not. You're a defenseman. Here's the thing. And you certainly play defense like a fucking shitty winger. You play defense. He plays defense worse than Oliver Wahlstrom. That's how bad he is. Behind the net, behind the other team's net, rushing the puck. Oh, coming down the other end. Let me jump off the ice. Let a defenseman get out there to try to help. He blows. Ponyboy says, boys, you think Lee gets jealous of Horvat? No. Lee battled Lou for months and months on offseason about length of contract. That's not true. And Lou just gave Horvat a lengthy contract with no seniority on the island.
No, I don't think he can. I don't think they care so much about that.
I mean, that contract was 4 years ago. Who's a better player, Bo Horvat or Anders Lee? It's Bo Horvat. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's never been close.
It's not.
Bo Horvat is a center, first of all. He plays defense. Second of all, he's a better skater. He's a better passer. He's a better shooter. He's better at everything than Anders Lee.
I agree.
That's it.
Drew L. Grumpy.
Mike Riley for this team is like Charles Manson. He's an absolute serial killer for the defensive structure of this team. I like that comment. Yeah.
Kanye the
Giant, long time since we heard him. Grump, I know you hate the Flyers, but were you rooting for them against the Soviets back then? No. They
You're rooting for the Soviets over the Flyers, huh?
Okay. I was rooting for the Flyers against the Soviets, but it was close. I'm just going to say it was. I hate the Flyers. I hate the Flyers. Of all this, I watch all the sports. There's no team I hate more than the Flyers. None. And I like what Tortorella's done with them this year. He's done a great job. He got rid of all the shit off the roster. He needs to come in here. He'd be the enema for this franchise as a coach. But they'd have to put him in charge, get rid of the old man. He's like, who's this Pierre Engvall piece of shit? You were on the second line? Get Mike Riley? Shit. I'll buy you a bus ticket myself. You're out. Simon Holmes. Go back to playing a banjo in Deliverance. My little brownie is back. Hello, my little brownie. Are the owners afraid of Lou? Because as much as he should be fired, I don't see the owners stepping up. I don't think they know much about hockey.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care.
Well, they better start caring, because when people stop showing up, then they'll really care.
I think they only care about short-term returns, and that just shows they're not here for the long term, right? There's one or two things. Sometimes, and I love when people give me this. Oh, got to be profitable when you first step into a new arena. New stadium. Yeah. If you're in a spot to where you're concerned with short-term revenue instead of looking at the long-term success of the franchise, well, maybe you only have short-term interest in the franchise. Maybe you're not here for the long term. Maybe you're here for only 10 years and looking to sell and then go ahead and make a large sum and then go off and buy something new and establish some new real estate like this ownership group is. They're real estate developers. Maybe that's the case. Maybe they're here only for the short term and they want to say, gotcha, when we try to sell this franchise 10 years after ownership, we want to be able to show the most robust revenues that we can from now until then. They dump it off on some idiot who doesn't understand that the team is in a bad shape for the actual player personnel, and they go ahead and buy, and maybe we get a new ownership group. I don't know how long this ownership group will be here. The longer they leave Lou Lamoriello unchecked, unsupervised, and with full reign to do what he wants, I believe that this ownership group gives zero shits about this team's future, which means they don't care about the long-term success of the franchise or about us as the fans. That simple. A rogue gamer.
Hey, Grump, you give me a little respect on Breece Hall. I know I compared him to Barry, but last 4 games he was sick all year, but was an ACL, stiff arms, spin moves, breakaway speed. Okay. Rogue gamer.
Barry Sanders?
Unless you're talking about, I can't even think of another Barry, honestly. He's not Barry Sanders. You know who, TJ, whose running style does he remind you of? I have a guy in mind, and he was a really good running back for a number of years.
I don't say Marshall Faulk.
Not saying Marshall Faulk.
Got to give me a
not
hint.
That good.
You got to give me a hint. Who are you thinking?
Steelers.
Are you about to say Le'Veon Bell?
Absolutely. Running style. The way he kind of picks and the way he has that little
vision and patience.
Yes.
Sure. Yes. Okay, sure. I could see that. Here's
and
the thing. Le'Veon Bell could freaking pack a punch, though, and this kid can't.
Yeah, like I said, the running style is similar.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Gotcha. And I think Breece Hall's good.
Cutter Gauthier was promised on draft day that he'd play 1 year of college and then the Flyers would sign him. The Flyers didn't realize they didn't have the cap room, and they told him to go back to Boston College for a second year. So you throw a little hissy fit. And you say, gotcha.
I don't want to play for your organization anymore. I'm going to take my stick and go home.
I can get name, image, and likeness deals now, too, in college, but I'm going to be all pissy about that. I'm like, what? Okay, you weren't good enough. I mean, how did his numbers look in college the first year? I don't think they blew anybody away.
I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I had to pull this up here now. Now you got me interested because I'm thinking he's a Swede, isn't he?
They have like $1.2 million in cap space. How much money is he getting paid?
If he's on an entry level deal and isn't he? Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be fine to do that.
What team? He went to Anaheim, right?
Yeah, he's at Anaheim now. But let's take a look here.
Yeah, let's see how much money he's earning.
He put up decent numbers there. He put up really good numbers in Boston College. 37 points in 32 games last year. And this year, he's got 23 points. Well, okay, I'll tell you one thing. Daniel Briere said he stopped communication with him in May. Wouldn't communicate back with the ownership. Wouldn't communicate back with the general manager. I don't know.
That doesn't work for, honestly, that doesn't work for money. It doesn't work for this argument.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's not this season. It wasn't even the end of last season, or maybe it was the end of last season.
And maybe he was expecting a contract immediately or something. He said, "We'll talk about it. We're not going to do that." Maybe that caused a breakdown. I don't know. It's odd. It's odd. I mean, like, were you whatever? Oh man, here's the thing. They were proactive getting rid of him, and I thought that was a good idea. Did they screw it up by promising him something and then not doing that? Perhaps. We don't know the inner workings, but I'm sure over time we'll find that out too. Drew says here, Cutter Gauthier is trying to exercise that NBA player privilege to say, I just don't want to be with this team. Time to trade me. But guess what? The Flyers are smart enough to say, oh, you don't want to be here? Gotcha. We're not going to hold on to you and hope that you're going to be convinced over years that you want to be here. And then we're holding a guy that's known not to want to be here. We're going to trade you away at your youngest, most valuable point. You're an ex-5th overall selection, and you were just drafted. You had 2 good years in college. You had a good World Juniors. We need to get you gone. And they did that.
That sounds like a Tortorella thing, though, doesn't it? Not a Briere thing.
Smells more like a Briere thing, being smart, proactive.
Briere looks like a fucking piece of white bread to me. That smells of Tortorella. He was pissed off. I wouldn't know this guy from a fucking hole in the wall. I care about the guys who are coming here. I don't give 2 shits about who's going the other way. Who? I could care less about him. Yeah.
Frank.
Grumpy old man, who do we get for GM? I'm worried there isn't any good guys out there. There's always good guys out there. Again, I'm going after a young general manager from a team that's good, an assistant GM. You're not going to get an existing GM to come here. So you're going to have to get an assistant, some assistant, and bring him in, somebody with new ideas, not analytics geeks, none of those, because that shit never fucking works. So you get somebody who's learned from somebody good. Bring them in, somebody who's like, you know what, we're going to have to build through this, because we're going to have to start over. It's a start over thing.
Yeah. It's the unfortunate truth. It is the unfortunate truth there, Rob. Yeah. Bro Gamer.
Oliver Holmstrom, maybe Oliver Wallstrom, might be like Hosang. I thought the kid had talent, was probably a big dick. I don't think so.
Oh, man. Frank says here, Grumpa Man, Pony was saying that Brock has been getting more goals every preceding year the past 2 years. And this year, he's on pace to score 40 goals. Here's the thing. I am pleasantly surprised every year when Brock Nelson doesn't take a fall off planet Earth, because really, Barry Trotz is the greatest thing that ever happened to his career.
Yes. 100% agree with that. 100%. I was
asking Grumpy, too, I said, when Pellick and Pulak are back and if they struggle, could we say that they were a system just simply of Barry Trotz's system? Was their good play just simply, a fact, or just simply a byproduct of Barry Trotz's system? Perhaps. Remember, Pellick, I think, played under Doug Wade originally and didn't look great that stretch that he played his first season in the NHL. I'll be interested. Goon Grump.
Is the gentleman Mr. Meat who posted before the father of the popular character with a similar name from the motion picture classic Porky's?
I don't know. I'm
going to bet probably not. His name was just Meat, not Mr. Meat.
But Mr. Meat's the father, Grump. Goon.
Goon says, why does Hulk Hogan refer to everyone as brother? I don't know, brother.
There it is. Big Islanders fan, Grump.
Hey, Lou has a great gig. Why would you give it up? No, that's why you got to shit can him. Same thing with the Patriots with Bill Belichick. How fucking bad does your team have to get before you cut ties with this motherfucker? He ruined the franchise. First of all, as soon as the people's champion left, that was the end of that franchise. But this guy has decimated the roster. It's not that he can't coach. I think he can still coach, not the same like he was a few years ago, a number of years ago, but he's the GM too. You can't let him pick players. That's the problem. What is wrong with jettisoning this guy? Pete Carroll got fired. They were 9-8 this year. How does he get fired? I mean, who's the other guys who were fired? Mike Vrabel? Okay, they weren't great this year. That roster's been decimated by a rookie GM. He gets fired. How does Belichick keep a job? Kick his ass out the door. He's got all his kids working for him. He's like Fredo. You got Fredo Belichick as a defensive coordinator. Yeah. You got Lou Lamoriello. I mean, Bill Belichick is the head coach and GM. Got to get rid of that guy. Get rid of him.
Oh, gosh. He go, next comment here, Grumpy. Frank.
We are winning tomorrow night. I feel it. Okay.
Be nice. But here's the thing. We've played well again. We've always played Toronto tough, even dating back to last year. I wouldn't be shocked if we won tomorrow. I really wouldn't. James Adler.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, you think Lou will make a trade with the player of the women's New York team for a guitar round pick?
I don't know what that
James,
means.
That doesn't really make much sense, but I would make any trade with the women's league team. Not one.
Goon Grump.
Grumpy, I've been disappointed that you haven't been spotted slurping up a few droplets of the grape elixir from the cap like you used to. Did you turn over
Trust me, he still does that shit. He's got to get the freaking extra little drop.
No, there's nothing in there. See, there's nothing in there. I don't need to if there's nothing in there. And it's only if I shake it. See, when I have the ice in there, I don't have to shake it as much. I prep the drink a long time ahead. I make sure that it gets a nice icy thing in there, and then I pull it out. So all the little granules are melted. I don't need to shake it as much, but I will eventually occasionally shake it, and then I'll suck it out of there.
Take that out of context. Then I'll suck it out of there.
I don't care. Whatever.
Road gamer.
Let Grumpy chew his ice in peace. Tend to your cat. That's a comment for you, TJ.
That's not very nice, Road gamer. And of course, that makes sense why X would star that comment there. Fucking X.
Tommy Bappy says, blaming Sorokin makes me laugh. Reminds me of when we had Kelly Rudy, a really good goalie, with a total garbage team in front of him. Exactly. All the Lamanites, they're morons. They just are.
Good gracious.
To a person almost.
Goon Grump.
What are the pros and cons of taking a flight where there is a changeover or two? I don't do that. At my age, I'm just, you know what? I'm going to pay the extra, whatever it is. And I don't want any changes. No. Just fly me to my destination.
Grumpy is old and irritable, very easy. Who would ever have guessed?
Fly me to my destination. I don't want to go to 6 airports, and most of them are some miserable slime ball airport. Filthy.
God forbid Grumpy would ever have to set foot in Philly.
I hate Philadelphia. I hate that airport too. Matter of fact, the whole city. I think that's where the asshole of America is Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
All the shit just runs out of there.
Frank
says, I wish, and for all the people who are from Philadelphia, move. I wish Sorokin took $7 million so we can get more guys. I see a lot of great teams don't have a top goalie, just a good enough goalie. I bet teams keep doing that. Top goalies getting paid a lot kills the cap. No, it's signing guys in their 30s to 7-year extensions, giving them $7 million a year, $5 million a year, another 5 for Pajot, 5 for Palmieri. I mean, Casey Zizekas for 6 years, 7 years for Engel. That's all that shit adds up. We've talked about it 100 times. It's not one contract. It's all the shitty Jags that are on this team who get 6 and 7 year extensions. You're stuck with them forever. Nobody wants them because they're not that talented. Build up your farm system. That's what you need to do. Build up your farm system. This way you can pay the good players, if you have any, the big money, and then let the lower entry-level contracts come in, and this is how you do it. We do it ass backwards. That's why we're in trouble. Oh,
You're grumpy.
see, we already put a new comment up there. Adam P says Grumpy is right. We, the realists, said that you can't be in a full rebuild mode with Sorokin. That's akin to what Grump said about the team being worse than the Senators without him. He's the reason we're stuck in mediocrity. It's true, but nobody's trading for Sorokin, and we're not trading him. He's one of the watchable things for this team with the saves he makes.
Got a comment here from Drew L. Says this podcast is definitely going until midnight.
I guarantee you it will not go that late.
Good Grump.
Is texting while sitting atop the toilet a reflection of bad etiquette, or does it merely mean diddly in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah,
TJ, I'll let you answer that one.
I don't text on the toilet. No, I like. No, I will hit. I don't ever text anymore. I like to hit the little speak button and I speak to it, and that's why it's like, why is this guy not? Why did the message make no sense? I'm just speaking to it. I don't like texting. Gosh, I don't know how people just do it all day long. I'll send a text every once in a while, but I like to speak to it and just hit send. That's easier.
You mean how some people are on Twitter all day long?
Maybe. James F. Grumpy says here, Grumpy, you're going crazy. Stop. We're not worse than Ottawa.
I didn't say we're worse than Ottawa now. I said if we had to play with Appleby in goal because we don't have any goaltenders, we'd be worse than Ottawa.
I believe that, yes. George P. Grumpy.
Hey, Grumpy, you're talking shit about Mike Riley, but Noah Dobson is straight garbage defensively. Do you not see that? Georgios, I don't know what fucking games you're watching, brother. Noah Dobson's our best defenseman. It's not even close. Matter of fact, he's our best defensive defenseman now, too.
He's so calm, cool, and collective with the puck in his own zone.
Watch
he does
how
a
calm
good
he
job
is.
where he needs to be. He's paired with the worst. He's paired with the second worst fucking defenseman on the team. And if you're wondering who could be the second worst defenseman on the team, it's I play no positional defense Romanov. Everybody I get paired with, I make worse. That guy, Alexander Romanov. He's close. Before it was Riley, it was Romanov who was the worst defensive defenseman. And, for a guy who's a top four, Romanov is definitely in our top four as our worst defenseman. I don't even think it's close for second.
Not even.
He says Dobson's a turnover machine. That's just not true.
I don't know what games. Again, I don't know what
He's
games
good
you're
offensively, but but on defense, he's garbage.
Like I said, you're not paying any attention to the game. None. Even the lead Laminite can't even push that narrative anymore. And he hates Dobson. Can't push it. Frank says Noah has played defense way better this year. Yeah. The matter of fact, they were talking about he might be a Norris Trophy finalist. And the thing is, out of those guys, McCarr, Quinn,
Hughes,
he's the only guy who actually plays defense.
Yeah. Good Grump.
Is Grumpy a spring chicken compared to that old codger Lou? Yes, I am.
Oh, good gracious here. And then Engvall is playing bloody awful. Has any Islander missed so many goal and scoring opportunities than that sad sack millionaire? Yeah, there have been plenty.
But that's not his skill set. I've said that all year. Last year, I said, you watch him. He gets the puck. He misses. The puck will always bounce off the heel of his stick. He's not a goal scorer. He just isn't. To expect him to be a goal scorer it's just foolish. And for the lead Laminite and all the rest of that ilk, he's going to score 20. He's not. That's not his skill set. Stop thinking he's better than he is, because he's not. And I feel bad for him in that regard. People going after him because you know what? He can only be what he is, as good as he is. Anything extra is just not who he is. Sorry.
I've got a comment here from Robert Marshall says Dobson has been overused. I do agree with that. I think that they've used, this is a guy who's been playing like 27, 28 minutes a night almost ever since we had Pelican Pulak out. And I want to be honest with you, that wears on a guy after time, especially because it's his first time ever doing that, and it shows. You could tell he's got deadlights. Christian JBT Grumpy.
The Islanders are exactly like the Dolphins. They can't beat good teams. I disagree they can't be good teams, and neither can the Dolphins. I'm rooting for and if you listen to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show tomorrow, we're going to have our NFL playoff spectacular for certain. I'm rooting for the Dolphins for certain, but the Dolphins at least show like they have some offense. That much I give. And they're better defensively too.
Nick D.
A little curveball. UBS will host next year's All-Star game. Good for them. I know the owners are happy about that.
Here we go. We got here. Big Islanders fan says here against Tampa, we had Komarov on the first line. Then you wonder why you lost. Yep. We didn't have a first line winger there. Leo Komarov playing on the first line. We were expecting that to work out well. Drew L. Grumpy.
Just a tip for everyone. If you want to watch what a functional organization looks like, watch the Knicks.
Fuck. There it is. Okay, Frank.
How did that comment slip? How did that comment slip?
You can think X does that sometimes.
I don't want to see any Knicks bullshit coming through on the comments ever. Not even on the old sports show. Frank says Noah was way worse last year. He's actually improved, but he has plenty of room to get better.
Every defenseman you could say in today's league, because defense is not something that teams value. Just like goaltending is not valued. It's the reason why goalies suck, and it's the reason why a lot of opportunities go the other direction. Is because it's not enough of an emphasis is placed on. As simple as that. Michael M says here, who has been consistently good? Barzal, Horvat, Brock Nelson, anybody else? Maybe Dobson. Definitely Dobson in that mix, and Sorokin.
Do you think Nelson's been consistently good this year? I don't.
Nelson's played well.
Yeah, okay.
You don't like Nelson. You don't like
consistently good. The answer is fucking no. He's never been consistently good. He's a streaky player. He's been good enough this year. I'm not ripping him, but he's not been consistently good. Now, lefty all around. This is a fucking stupid comment. All right. I love you. Love Vancouver. Quinn Hughes.
Hold on, Grumpy is throwing haymakers tonight. Grumpy not playing very nice in the same.
Is not a top 4 D man of all time.
I do agree.
He's not. We could probably find 4,000 defensemen better than him all time. He's played what, 2-3 years? And here's the thing: he's not a defenseman. He's phenomenal with the puck. Absolutely great offensively. He's not great defensively. Just not.
Oh man, here you go.
I would be interested. I'd be interested who his top 3 are.
Bed and blanket there.
Surprised TJ hasn't said it or played the clips of him saying it 40 times yet.
I don't have that prepared. That was the one-time special for me. Giorgio's Papa says here, trust me, Dobson's horrible on defense. He seems like he's improved. It's just his numbers offensively are good, but as a defenseman, he's bad at it. We'll just agree to disagree. He's looked much better this year. He's been our best defensive.
Best on the team. Best on the team plus 16. The majority of the team is minus. He's been that good.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we saw this already. We saw this comment from Nick Ciccione. Giorgio's Papa says, how many times a game does our defense ice the puck? Every time Mike Riley's on the fucking ice, because guess what? He won't even skate up to the red line. He dumps it from 3 or 4 feet back, and he's like, what? Hey, asshole, it's the red line you got to get to before you just haphazardly toss in the zone.
Tony the
Werewolf Cheese says, I love how TJ said year anniversary like anniversary wouldn't apply.
Yeah, it was kind of, well, I guess I screwed it up, but I was trying to make a call back to something else that was done on social media. When somebody was commenting, someone was retweeting me. But Robert Marshall says here, LOL, Pellick has sucked since the All-Star game.
Maybe a little strong, but his play, absolutely, his and Pulak's play has been on a downward slant. It absolutely has. Before that trade was on January 30th, I knew it was closer to the end of the month or something. Ponyboy Curtis says, I haven't been able to comment on the last couple of podcasts, boys, but Grump, I really think you need to get TJ a shrink. Yeah, TJ's got fucking issues, all right?
Yeah.
Giorgio says, even though it's not Lambert's fault, we might need a new coach.
I do agree with that.
No.
It's not.
How many coaches are you going to let the old man hire? How many?
Too many.
Eventually, you got to get rid of the GM.
Illy's getting machine gunned out there with our poor defense. Agreed, Robert?
Absolutely.
What about Curtis Grump?
TJ, how do you come up with the format for the podcast with being able to put up people's comments live as you guys are streaming? There are virtually no other sports podcasts that are like this.
Yeah, Grumpy and I, when Grump and I used to do the podcast in the same area, but then when we stopped doing that, once I moved long ago, we just did it like this. And we're like, great. It's good to have live interaction and comments like that. It was good to be like, okay, cool. Different ideas that were being thrown in there at the same spot. So it all worked well. And I guess the rest was history. The rest was history, my dear friend. Drew L. Grumpy.
TJ, can you believe Grumpy just insulted our intelligence just because we use Twitter? I think it's time to cancel Grumpy.
Cancel the Grumpy, man.
What do I care? Road Gamer says TJ is a secret special Lou agent.
Yeah. Ponybar Curtis.
In the way that they give listeners a voice, how do you guys do? By firing off the live comments as you're podcasting? Where did you get the idea for this format, or who did you steal it from? No, TJ, that's a TJ thing. He wants everyone to be able to voice what they feel about the team. And we do that on the other podcast too. It makes it way longer. Absolutely. Even with us taking selected comments, and so we get a lot of comments, but you know what? We want people to engage who listen to the show. He wants people to engage who listen to the show.
I want it to be like a bar, like a pub where you're shooting the shit with your friends. You're just talking about the things you like. And it's like, how could you do that if you're not at the bar? Well, you go to the podcast and we just shoot it like we're all buddies. Ponybar Curtis says here, TJ, you seem like the guy to take cold showers.
You don't have a problem taking cold showers, do you, TJ?
No, I could do that again.
What kind of fucking maniac doesn't mind taking cold showers?
Coach Tommy B.
He was on a Team USA that just won the gold at the World Juniors. I don't know who he's talking about.
I don't know why it's Guthrie. I don't know why Cutter Guthrie.
He was good too. And he was good in the
I don't know why I thought he was Swedish, but I guess he's not. Let's go Islanders. And SJU BB fan says, "Your grumpy old man. What do you think we get for Wallstrom in a trade?"
Nothing. They've killed his value. Nothing. He's going to be a throw-in.
Yeah. Michael M says, "Your grumpy wants a young Lou."
Not getting one of those. Getting
Frank
close
G
to 1K subscriptions. Yes. I checked that. I'm like, why are we not at 1,000 subscriptions? Get your friends. Please
Subscribers. Don't say subscription. Subscribers. Whatever. Send Grumpy to Philly. That's right.
Oh, jeez.
Michael,
Romanov's been good.
Yeah, Michael, what is this?
Good for nothing is what he's been good for. You know what he's not good at? Playing positional defense. We showed that too, Michael Moisa. We showed where it's almost like he's a car where the steering goes out and he's just, come on. Gugu says, do you think Phil Fax soiled his trousers after the Islanders' latest debacle last night? He doesn't know what to do. He's lost because the lead Laminite cannot spin how bad this team has been. Can't do it.
I'm going to say this.
Spin it.
I can't wait till we get him on the show. I'm trying to get Phil on, and we're going to bring his co-host.
Come on. Too scared.
Oh,
Too scared to come on the show.
Wow. I can't wait till we got to start like around the trade deadline. I think we're just going to start like doing the rounds and start having guests back on. We've done it a while without guests. I'm ready to bring guests back on. We'll see. I feel like we're just running on a treadmill, same place as we always are. CX has my back, says Drew. Good job, X. Keep sliding those Knicks comments.
What the fuck? Why is that comment in there, X? X is gone. I know he's gone.
Road Gamer says, is TJ a furry? No.
What the hell's a furry? I don't know.
I put that up because I figured you wouldn't know what a furry was. Goon, grumpy old man.
TJ, we didn't see any of your cat's tookuses tonight. Quick, make my dream come true.
No, thank you. Flex Cruise says here, just had some Seaport Deli in Port Jeff. If you know, you know. Fire.
Wow. I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was if yuck, yuck. If yuck, yuck, fire.
Please tell me you're fucking around.
I'm not. I don't read like that. Everything I put down, I type out. Type everything out. None of this stuff. I know how to spell.
Grumpy. Fuck. We got one meme. Now let's take a look here. Drew L sent us a meme that we'll wrap up the show with here. Let's take the leak footage of Lou's next press conference with Shannon Hogan.
We cheer for Muslim athletes like Kareem Abdul and Joan Shingang. I'm going to pronounce
what? It's embarrassing. You know what? If it wasn't so sad, it'd be funny.
Yeah, it would. It is so sad.
I have not seen that. I try not to watch that stuff, but yikes. Yikes.
Coach Harvey says, see you, Jansen, in 2 weeks. Curacao, vacation next week.
And you were complaining to me when I said, if yuck, you were complaining about that?
Motherfucker. Yeah, like Curacao. I just not fucking country, Grump. What do you want me to tell you? Curacao vacation next week. I'll send you a postcard. Send us a postcard. We're down. But Grump, let's see here. Drew, 5 stars. There it is. Oh gosh. Shannon Hogan stalks me in her spare time. Oh god.
Wow.
Okay.
She doesn't strike me as being a stalker, but okay.
Let's I sub to Grumpy's OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
OF, outfield. I thought OF was outfield.
What's an OnlyFans, Grump? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, that's like a porn site, isn't it? Or something? Or like OnlyFans get to watch you when you do crazy whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you do crazy things.
Yeah, crazy things. Yeah.
Well, Grump, let's wrap things up here today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up tonight?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ, the grumpy old man, and behind the microphone, Son X.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching the show here today.
Watch tomorrow night.
Live tomorrow on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. Link in the description below, or as a featured page here on our YouTube channel. And we talk anything and everything sports on that show. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Grumpy. Thank you so much for the engagement. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you so much for the thoughts. Hopefully, we get a win tomorrow against Toronto. Fingers crossed. But
I say no, so that probably means a victory. When I say yes, we lose. When I say we're going to win, we lose. When I say we're going to lose, we win. So I'm predicting a loss.
It's a guaranteed win for the Islanders tomorrow. Take it to DraftKings. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, thanks so much, Grumpy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.